games in between both games. Looks like they're just about to get it going right now. And so there are portals that we're probably going to see here in just a few seconds that connect the two games. All the games are combined into, or both games are combined into a single run, so really it's one game. And the goal is to finish both by defeating all 4 of the Super Metroid main bosses, Kraid, Phantoon, Dragon, and Ridley, not necessarily in that order, then go kill Mother Brain and make it to the ship, or at least make it out of the planet and back to Hyrule maybe. And then also collect 7 crystals, go to Ganon's Tower, and go to the pyramid and beat Ganon. And once you've done both those things, the credits will roll.
Yeah, a couple things happening right out of the gate. Both runners went immediately into Link to the Past. There is only one logical available check in Super Metroid if you're familiar with SMZ3. We're on the normal or casual difficulty, however you want to call it. So only that morph pedestal item is in logic. They could also get a second item by damage boosting into the ceiling, but that would be a sequence break. Also, we have a missile pack on Hylia Island and a missile pack in Sanctuary. Lackattack took a different route, and he's going to give us some info on the tree pools.
Yeah, so when you transition the game, you either get a free Tier 3 or Tier 2 tree pull, depending on whether you get hit in A Link to the Past or not. Dorkmaster Flek is going for some immediate rupees here by setting up the Chris Houlihan room. Going to get 225 rupees, all in blues, to start him off. I kind of like this opening play because it gives you guaranteed money for bombs, bottle vendor when you go over to Kakariko.
Yeah, there are a lot of different options for opening play. I actually like Lackattack's route. This is typically what I do. And already paying off with a sword on the Uncle, that's a vanilla location. Is this even? Let's just get it out of the system. That's it. We threw it out there. Is this even randomized? Already done. No need to say that in chat anymore for the next 3 hours. But
3 hours? Actually, dude, I thought these games took like an hour and a half. What? I got stuff to do. Am I going to be here for 3 hours?
I'll fill in for you, buddy. Don't worry. But I actually like Lackattack. Normally, you would see a runner just check those 2 items in Uncle's house. Well, I guess it's not his house. I don't think he lives in the sewers. It's not Splinter. But he said, oh, I have a sword. This will allow me some easy checks inside Hyrule Castle, and immediately aware of his item loadout and his position going straight into Hyrule Castle. It looks like we're having some Kakariko skips so far.
Yeah, this is very interesting to go for a Houlihan and then go to Uncle. I don't think I like this play all that much from Dorkmaster, but it does get him those bombs, and we're going to see what he does with them. Looks like he's not going to front of Escape. We saw Lackattack not get a small key in the first chest, so that small key is either at Dark Cross, or it's in the back of Escape, and those back of Escape items are behind a glove in the logic.
Yeah, you can go around the glove requirement, but it's pretty long and convoluted, and isn't usually worth it in single player. But yeah, getting the bombs out of the Uncle Sewer is really nice. A lot of runners will take a south route and come into Kakariko from below because there's a spot where you can farm bombs there. But not going to need to do that today. I think that's also was Dorkmaster Flek's plan in going to the Houlihan room. He'd have some extra money to buy some bombs should he need them.
Yeah, which is why if you're going to do that Uncle check, I like doing it ahead of time so that you know you've got your bombs for Kakariko and are going to be in good shape to be able to farm the well for what you need. But he's got plenty of rupees, he's got some bombs, and so once you have the bombs, I do like that north to south Kakariko route because you don't need the bomb bushes.
No, in any case, it's working out for him. He's got the money for Bottle Vendor and the bombs to check most of the locations. I think you need 4 if you have to do race game. But
yes, because you've got the well, you've got Blind's Hut, you've got the Chicken Hut, and then you got race game at the sort of the south end of that.
Yeah, not anything good on these tree pulls. I saw some hearts and some 10 sticks. And only
that is a lot of sticks.
40 sticks. It's like if you played that. There's the 4th bomb.
Yeah, grabbing the bushes instead of using his sword. That might be a little muscle memory, or maybe just a personal choice.
Yeah, I'd have to say muscle memory. So you know that song by Led Zeppelin, 4 Sticks? It's like playing that song 10 times. It's not their most popular song, so maybe never mind.
Yeah, I'm not so good at Zeppelin deep cuts, I'll be honest. So I don't know if I've heard that one, man.
And Lackattack has already farmed his 4th bomb, so a really convenient drop from the crow in the woods.
Yeah, and early on, this set of items, commonly referred to as Sphere 1, as far as how the logic thinks about items and progression, there's a bunch of stuff that constitutes the sphere. It's basically everything you can get with just bombs and rupees, which are abundantly available to you. And so we're going to see runners be pretty thorough in Sphere 1 generally. So we're just going to see them kind of follow each other around through Kakariko and South Shore and Eastern and Escape and all those different locations. Pretty typical to see runners be pretty thorough in that part. Where is Lack going?
What do you think our first progression item is going to be? Oh, he went to talk to the 2 stoves lady. That's one of Vitorp's favorites. Oh, there's the lamp. That's lamp and sword? That does give logical progression to one other location, possibly 3 beyond that if it's a key. So remember we talked about that Dark Cross in Hyrule Castle? Well, there you go. It's in logic now. We have a quick map check.
As is the vanilla big key location in Eastern?
That actually doesn't unlock anything just yet.
Yeah, that's worth the 100 rupees though.
Yeah, no kidding. So we had a bad crystal in Eastern, and then a red pendant, and then a red crystal up in Tower of Hera.
All right, run that by me again. We had a red crystal Hera, and what was the rest? I missed the map check.
Red pendant in Desert, and plain old crystal in Eastern Palace.
Crystal, Eastern, and Hera. We're getting close to Hera access. Lack is going to get his lamp and probably soon enough his hammer. Dorkmaster Flek already having both of those.
Oh, the lamp does also open up a check in Eastern Palace, so that lamp is technically progression, if only for 2 items.
Yeah, and if we find a glove, that could be Death Mountain access. So
Navaria's suit locked behind the Pegasus boots. Yikes.
Yeah, Samus already looking very orange on Dorkmaster Flek's side, but don't be misled. That's actually Link in a Various suit. Samus does not yet have a Various suit.
It's called a Goron tunic, I believe. So, yeah.
I don't know, man. You can tell from the shoulder pads.
Not only do you not have boots, you also don't have Varia suit, and never will. Well, maybe someday they will.
Yeah, we'll see where those boots show up, if those boots show up.
Hey, that's good knowledge. And finding a second power bomb pack in the race game is really nice. You generally want to have at minimum 10 power bombs when you go into Super Metroid. 15 is real comfy, or 5 to 10 is okay if you have morph bombs, but 10 power bombs is a nice benchmark to go for before you actually want to enter back into Super Metroid. Of course, you can't use those power bombs until you find the morph ball.
Yeah, and Lack is going to do a blind check of race game here. And I think we're going to see him go get the power bombs. The first few power bomb packs that you see are just so valuable.
I mean, especially with the knowledge of that Varia suit and thinking, I might not get that for a while. I want some ammo to Crystal Flash and break the logic and do some heck runs.
Yeah, although...
I just threw a lot of terminology out there, so...
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot going on there, but heated rooms without Varia are something that are not in logic, and were something that at least Lack showed an aversion to during our match last week.
That's a Moon Pearl. That is 2 of the 3 pieces required to get into the Dark World in Link to the Past. They'll either need to find a glove or, a cape or sword, right? We could have an Aga play.
A glove, a cape, another sword. There's a lot of things out there that could get us into the Dark World.
Morph and gravity. And flippers.
I was going to say flippers and speed, or really just speed, not ice. But let's not go there for now.
Well, let's just say the runners are hoping to find a glove. But yeah, so the heated rooms in Norfair are not required to do without Varia suit, and that's a third power bump pack. That's really nice, and a flute, which is a nice movement option. He's going to actually go activate the flute and possibly flute over to check the Ice Rad Cave rather than walk in there like a chump. But
I like walking there like a chump. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
you have to walk out of that room, through the next room, do the whole cave transition, then walk. Forget that. And you're gonna activate the flute eventually anyway. It would be nice to combine it with, having to check Sick Kid or go into the Dark World Kakariko portal. But
yeah, I actually definitely agree with the play to go activate the flute right away. Just flute down to 8 if you want to go do Ice Rod Cave. But I got a little bit of love for just kind of like hoofing it slowly around Hyrule. It's kind of nice to have this cozy early game where you're not being super frantic. But
so I want to get.
Go ahead.
We kind of got off topic. I wanted to get back to the topic of the sequence breaks because they're going to be very important in this run with the Varia suit on top of the library, which requires Pegasus boots to get. Now, the logic assumes that you have Varia suit to do any of the heated rooms in Norfair. However, it is by no means a hard requirement. If you have the energy and the skill to just go through the rooms and take the heat damage as you go, you are allowed to go through there and check those items. If you find an item through those heated rooms that gives you progression, you know that comes in the progression farther along the line than the boots, right? So say I go into a heated room in Norfair without Varia suit, I find Speed Booster. Now I know that I'm not going to find Pegasus boots behind any of those speed lock locations.
Which is great because all the speed lock locations suck. But you want to tell us what is in logic for both games? Rather than talk about all the different things we can do out of logic, I think it's just good to cast what is in logic.
Oh, yeah.
That way, anything that's outside of that.
So the flute and the lamp gives access to this old man check that Dork's doing, so it bailed me out of answering the question immediately. But there's also one more check in Super Metroid that flute unlocks. They can go into the Norfair portal, bypass some of the Morph Ball requirements, and get the E-Tank that's in the pre-high jump boots room, if you're familiar with the vanilla layout of Super Metroid. Also, nobody's gone over to Eastern Palace yet. Nobody's talked to Sahasrara, gotten the 3 free items that are Sphere 1. Also, every item except for the boss in Eastern Palace will be available. And, well, that just opened up about half of Link to the Past. That's a quote from the old man.
We had the read. That is 13-minute Dark World access for both of our runners.
Well, so that just means that Morph Ball is going to be potentially very hard to find in this seed.
Yeah, there's a lot of locations it could be. The Hammer plus Glove allows access to basically all of Dark World, but right now it's not super convenient. You can either go in sort of above Swamp down by Link's house, or over above the Kakariko village in the portal up there, sort of toward the Lost Woods.
I think Dorkmaster Flek is going with the former here, and never mind.
Nope, he's bailing. He don't want Dark World. He does not like Ice Cave.
So he has not checked the castle like lackattack did, but now Dork is actually going in here with the lamp, so he'll be able to do a full clear here. I would have liked to see a back of escape check first, since he picked up the glove, and he could possibly abandon a small key in the most out of the way chest, or small key or map. I don't think we've seen either. But
yeah, so if you don't find the map, but you do find, or if you don't find the map or small key in the back, sometimes you can bail on Zelda's Cell and Dark Cross, and it feels great.
And there's that same map check from Lackattack, and he's going to take the Dark World portal in Kakariko. So this is a potential full clear of Thieves Town. Since he's got the hammer, he can get all 4 items in there and complete the dungeon. We are going to want to see a map check from him soon of the Dark World side, but anyway, Thieves Town, at least doing it partially, is usually a pretty good early play, but Lackattack likes the Skullwood value play. So there's a full clear of Thieves Town. If you know some minor glitches, you could actually clear every item in Palace of Darkness except for the Helmasaur boss. And that's one of 2 items, so Lackattack's already... I wouldn't say that he wants 50 rupees, but he wants to find the 2 items and see that he doesn't need to come back with Fire Rod. Now, Lackattack knows whether this is a pendant or crystal based on his music, but we have Dork's audio up right now, actually.
You want to get some Skullwood information going?
Oh, I'm too late.
I was gonna say you missed it.
There we go.
Okay.
So that is actually pendant music.
Yep.
So
and it was a health refill death here.
Yep. Taking a little bit of an intentional here. Yeah. So Lackattack might like the Thorough route. Oh, there's a mirror.
Wow.
So not only is that both items in Skull Woods, and he never has to come back here again unless it turns out to be a green pendant. But the mirror means he's gonna. It seems like he's already going for the Thorough play, right? You'll want to head up to Skull Woods. I might even check Bumper Ledge, do a full clear of Thieves Town, Village of Outcasts, and just do every single possible location on the way, rather than go zero in on the more dense checks. Okay, there's the map check. So it is a blue pendant there in Skull Woods. Green pendant is in Ice Palace, and red crystal in Misery Mire. That's a Vanilla 6 in Misery Mire. So yeah, it looks like he has a thorough philosophy rather than the zero in on the dense checks philosophy. And I've seen both of them pay off. It depends on how the seed lays it out. And it looks like we got the small key. I'm assuming Dorkmaster Flek has the map because he's heading to Dark Cross now.
Yep, we saw that map in Zelda's cell, which is sort of exactly where you don't want it to show up in terms of feeling good about how you routed the escape, but that's okay. We got our key rat down, and we're on our way to Dark Cross to see what's there. If this is something big, it could be a long time before we see Lackattack get back to that. The upside for Lack is that he did also skip on the back of escape, so he didn't strand just a single item. And I missed what that was, unfortunately. Did you catch what Dorkmaster Flek found there in Dark Cross? I looked away to Thieves.
It might have been a Super Metroid item. Alright, he's just fluting out of here. The missiles. Okay. Thank you, chat.
I think chat's on it, but it might be that we've been misled. So we'll see. See if Dorkmaster Flek goes to Dark World. Meanwhile, we have Lack in Crystal Thieves, which
it's gonna farm
this is nice. This is actually a really nice play for Lack. It's full clearable. He's got 4 hearts, so just needs to watch his health. In the Dark World, the enemies do tend to do a little bit more damage than the Light World because they expect you to be a little more geared up by the time you get here in the vanilla A Link to the Past. So a lot of the enemies do 2 hearts. I think the red Zazax there actually deal 3 to green mail, if I'm remembering right. So
what's it? I don't even know what a Zazax is.
There's not a lot of vowels in their name.
The dragon.
I don't know if that helps you.
Fire spitting guys. I think I know what you mean. Just never heard that word before. So yeah, Dorkmaster Flek is going to take his bombs. I think that he's either planning, hoping to have a bomb to do a bomb jump in Skull Woods, or perhaps just to check the brewery in the Dark Village there. But yeah, it looks like he's just behind Lackattack and making these Dark World checks, and nice 300 rupee hoard for Lackattack. So it's going to be a while before we see a new item location. So do you want to give a plug to our sponsor, Maniacal?
Yeah. So the runners, not only are they competing right now for entry into the bracket stage of the tournament, once one of them is in the bracket stage of the tournament, it'll be a single elim bracket with 48 of the 95 entrants. and those players are going to play in a single elimination bracket for some money. Actually, a prize pool was generously sponsored by Rank 1 Gaming, which is sort of a social media network type of interface for gamers by gamers, basically. And so you can go and sign up on Rank 1 and let people know what you're playing, what you're digging, and kind of network with other people who are doing the same.
And that includes our runners here. Dorkmaster, Flek, and lackattack have their profiles up on rank1.global, so pop the links in chat for you guys. And yeah, I wanted to put Bridge on my profile, like the card game, but the only thing I could find was Bridge for Atari 2600. So I guess that counts.
Oh man, Hellway is giving Lack the business right now.
Oh, that's rough.
It most certainly possess attack.
Yeah, the spicy baked beans taking him out. Yeah, this is actually pretty rough. I think you mentioned before that the game, I mean, you would mandatory have 6 hearts if you were trying to come here with 6 hearts in the vanilla game. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to go into all the details of how you could get here with 3 hearts, but
suffice to say, A Link to the Past is held together by bubblegum, and sometimes we break the bubblegum.
Yeah, if you stretch the bubblegum too far, it pops. I like this analogy. Oh, and the Gibdo's not being nice to Dork either. So their options for weapons right now are pretty limited. They have a fighter sword, which does less damage and has a smaller hitbox than the master sword. And then they have the hammer, which does the same damage as a 3rd level sword, but has an even worse hitbox than the fighter sword. So it's like, do you want an okay hitbox with bad damage, or do you want great damage with a terrible hitbox?
Yeah, meanwhile, Lack is just navigating this hellway. That one Patrick star parked right in the middle and just was a complete jerk, but he makes it through. Sometimes they glitch out and just dance there in the middle of the hellway, and it's not any good, but Dork is making progress here in Skull. And Lack is into some new checks here in the basement of Thieves Town. He is going to be able to full clear this. If he doesn't find a small key here, he won't have to check that hammer chest. One of the keys self-locked, because it can't spawn on blind for key logic reasons, and he won't have to reload the super tile. Unfortunately, the game gives him trash, and he'll have to go use his hammer or die. Huh. I don't think they found 4 items, so I think that we may see Lack.
Still be one on blind. Well, it's kind of rough.
He's just bailing.
Yeah, there are plenty of items to check. So, Dorkmaster Flek just got. Why can I not talk? He just got his mirror, and they're gonna probably go to Thieves Town and do this whole route that Lack is. Dorkmaster Flek does have a little opportunity to gain some of the time that he lost, and lackattack still hasn't checked the back of escape or the dart cross for his missile pack. So if he does return back to those checks, then that's going to give Flek pretty good advantage here. And that's hammer plus powder is a check.
Yeah, with that mirror, it's an easy check even. But also that powder is a nice safety in addition to being a fetch quest item. And it looks like Lack is saying that powder is just what the doctor ordered to get him back in here into Thieves. Oh, but taking 3 from the Red Zazax.
It's okay, he's got powder. It'll be fine.
You have to get to the anti-fairy, man. I don't know. I'm not digging that.
There's one right there. Although you can't powder those while they're in motion. You have to hit them before they come out of their starting spot. So Dorkmaster Flek has to take the scenic route through the dark graveyard, and he's throwing in a couple overworld checks that lackattack skipped over. So we'll see if this pays off for Dork.
Yeah, and lackattack won the first matchup between these players, and generally is sort of the consensus favorite higher seed in the tournament, 2 versus 3 seed in this group. And is just a very solid player overall, Dorkmaster as well. But I think Dorkmaster may be going out of his way to do some of these a little off the beaten path checks, trying to maybe spike something that lackattack hasn't found. and I like this play angle from both players.
So the powder is going to help lackattack get up to blind. However, it's not going to help them in the blind fight itself. Blind will do 2 damage with a body hit or 1 damage with a fireball. So it's going to be kind of rough. Fortunately, if Lack has practiced, and I believe they are pretty knowledgeable about Link to the Past, it's a scripted fight. There is no randomness whatsoever in the fight. They have a plan going into it and they're used to the fight, then they'll know exactly what to do. They might not be used to having the smaller hitbox of the fighter sword, but it does actually do the same amount of damage to blind as any other weapon.
Yep, it's 3 phases with blind. After 3 hits, each head will kind of pop off, and then blind only has 3 heads. So once the third one pops off, blind's just dead because no more heads. So, fighter sword probably going to be preferred to hammer here, which the game could also force you to do. But we'll see. Hopefully Lack's able to get cleanly through this fight with his 4 heart. So far he's on script. This is good. And so each of these heads will deal 2 hearts of damage. The projectiles will deal 1. And so you want to take projectile hits if you've got to take anything.
And no value outside of a crystal, but that is a required crystal to beat the game. And Dorkmaster Flek got a little trolled by the Stalfos at the top of the ladder. But just a dungeon behind, lackattack. He has a couple of overworld checks in the north as well as back of escape on lackattack, so that time might kind of rubber band back to Dorkmaster Flek a little bit, so we'll just have to wait and see what checks lackattack goes for.
If Dorkmaster has a clean Thieves Town here and is able to avoid some of the deaths that Lack took, that's gonna go a good bit for making up some of that time that's the sort of the perceived gap right now between the runners. Looks like Lack is going straight for that magic bat check. I like this because that powder puts this item further in the logic, and so the odds are just slightly higher that it's a useful thing, but also while you're in this part of the map, it doesn't make sense to skip it.
That's not I would not turn that away at this point. I've seen very few of those in the seed so far.
Yeah, I think we saw that reserve tank on Lack's screen, but we haven't seen a whole lot of health in either game. I'm trying to remember where Lack missed a heart that Dorkmaster has, or where Dorkmaster found an extra heart. That 5th heart is going to help quite a bit here in Thieves Town, just because of the number of enemies that do deal 2 hearts exactly.
Back of Escape might have had a heart container. It was either Back of Escape or Graveyard Ledge.
Graveyard Ledge was the reserve that we saw Dorkmaster go get, but I don't think that I don't know where that heart came from. Unfortunately, it was not enough to save him from the swarm of enemies there in the Hellway. It's proving to be a trying room for our runners today.
Yeah, sometimes the game gives you the minimum required items to full clear a dungeon, and you think, okay, I can full clear this dungeon. I have Hammer, I have Moon Pearl, but you don't. Sometimes you just take for granted how comfortable you've gotten with having 10 heart containers or blue mail or tempered sword. That happened to me very much in my last race where I went into Ice Palace thinking, oh, I can full clear Ice Palace, but I think it was like a Master Sword 6 heart green mail, no potions Ice Palace or something. It's like, well, this was dumb.
Yeah, I will go and buy potions of shame more than a lot of people, I think, because I regard myself as pretty bad at the Link to the Past side of this game, and so I like to have extra safeties sometimes that help me get through some things to avoid deaths, which would cost me more time going to get the safeties. And so
the mark of a truly great runner is knowing your limitations as well, and that's where practice comes in pretty big. Not just getting that muscle memory down on those boss fights, but also knowing I don't want to do this with a fighter sword.
Yeah, some of these dungeons can be pretty tough with sort of minimum loadouts. And so one of the changes that the most recent version of the game that the runners are running on V11 has introduced is when you find bottles, they no longer have a chance of coming with potion in them. And so, like that bottle that we just saw lackattack find, that opens up the check at Sick Kid, and how timely. It does not come with any sort of potion, so if he wants some safety in it, he's going to have to put it in there himself.
Yeah, nobody's checked Zora yet. Dork has just enough money to do so, but then wouldn't be able to get into Palace of Darkness, let alone buy potions. Lackattack getting a little trolled by Mirror Box there. And we haven't seen any fake flipper checks yet, speaking of that, Zora. And Dork actually not digging up the money to recoup his investment on the digging game, which is perfectly fine. He can go into Arrow game and farm rupees instead, but he walks right past it. Very rarely will you see runners do that in a race. I think it's fun.
Straight to Sick Kid for the heart piece. I like the play, and if I'm I'm not even that sad to pick up that 5th heart container.
Right. And he has the mirror. This is going to be a full clear of Tower of Hera. We don't have it on the tracker, just have a limited number of space, but they do have the lamp, which is going to mean a full clear of Tower of Hera and that red crystal.
Absolutely. And so we've got that, plus that hammer gets us all the way over to East Death Mountain, and so there's an additional scout and 8 more checks over there. So this is a good play from lackattack. Definitely the biggest item density that he has available. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dorkmaster make this play very shortly.
Yeah, so just a little background on the runners. You might have seen Lackattack's name before. Well, that's because he speedruns almost every video game in existence. I think he's actually relatively new to SMZ3, but he's one of those guys from back in the NES speedrunning games. Not unlike Feasel himself. Shoutouts to SpeedGaming, but not unlike Feasel himself. Just picks up all these 8-bit games and learns to speedrun them. So definitely a very skilled speedrunner in general, but getting his feet wet a little bit here with SMZ3.
Yeah, so this, not an 8-bit game, it's actually 2 16-bit games. Does that give an additional challenge?
Yeah, this is a 32X game, I think.
So you actually have to plug the Super Metroid cartridge into the back of your Zelda no Densetsu Kamigami no Triforce cartridge to play this, right?
Yeah, and then attach that into your Game Genie. But wonder if someone could actually make that. Never mind. And Dorkmaster Flek, no stranger to Link to the Past Randomizer either, has been on the tournament scene, at least for Link to the Past Randomizer, for quite a while.
Yeah, I think Dorkmaster is a little more comfortable on the Super Metroid side relative to the Link to the Past side.
I apologize. And that's a gravity suit for Lackattack, so already paying off this Death Mountain checks. Dork's right behind him.
I could be mistaken, but I think the sprite choice corroborates my my thought. Gravity suit for Lackattack there in Hera is actually a really nice find.
Yeah, I like this. Go ahead.
Go. Just talk cross.
But I was going to say something dumb. Don't worry about it.
If I was worried about you saying something dumb, I would not have agreed to commentate with you. Let's be real.
Okay, so I like Dorkmaster Flek's strategy of sprite choice. Because whenever I'm playing SMZ3 and I'm stuck in Link to the Past, I'm always thinking, when can I get back to Metroid? So this makes him feel like he's playing Metroid the whole time. So I definitely... So go ahead and say your insightful thing to wash out my dumb thing.
Oh no, it's gone. Like Lax shot at Moldorm there. It's to the ether, and we don't yet have ether, so we can't recollect the thought.
Well, yikes. Lackattack took a fall to Moldorm here, so that's going to give Dorkmaster a little bit of time to catch up. Considering the extra overworld checks that Dork has done, he might be in the lead. It's really hard to say in randomizers because there's no linear path.
Yeah, these dungeon falls and hardships that Lack is experiencing are giving up a lot of time. It's 45 seconds here, 45 seconds there. But these races, even though they take 3 hours and there's seconds of execution everywhere.
3 hours? I thought this.
Yeah.
I gotta leave it. Like we already made that joke.
Yeah, we're just gonna abandon the commentary booth by like 2:30, and if the runners don't PB massively,
You mean the item location and criteria, right?
Yes.
So as soon as they check 230 missiles and criteria, we're out of here.
Yep, that and PBs and criteria. Then we're done. No. So what I was going to say, I did remember it. I think Dorkmaster didn't finish Thieves. No, I think that he bailed on Thieves after the Hellway death. But that gravity suit right now, it's nice to have, but it doesn't actually do anything for us. And Dorkmaster, unfortunately, using Fighter Sword spins here, any Fighter Sword touch, because the Fighter Sword sucks so bad, is going to deal 1/6 of Moldorm's health in damage. And so one more hit here, and we're going to see Moldorm get real spicy.
Well, let's be fair. It's not because the Fighter Sword sucks. It's because the Master Sword sucks. Because if you do a spin attack of the Fighter Sword, it acts as the Master Sword. And the only reason the Master Sword is any good with his spin is because it acts like the Tempered Sword, which would only be 3 hits. So he actually could do this with just 3 hammer hits and completely bypass the enraged phase.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he's aware of that. Usually you want to deal even numbers of Fighter Sword touches or Master Sword pokes.
Spring Ball, another item that does absolutely nothing until we find Morph. But that being said, Dorkmaster Flek, with the experience, knows how he wants to handle the fight. And sometimes it's not good to go with the fastest strategy. You want to go with the one that works best for you. And that's a general speedrunning principle and a Morph Ball.
Yeah, not shocked at all. That seemed like the most likely progression to find, and that's a good one there for lackattack. We're probably going to see Super Metroid now.
But in speedruns in general, if you are going for a world record, then you have to nail all of the world record tricks. But if you're going for, say, a sub-hour in Super Metroid, you can pick up an extra missile pack and E-Tank. Just, don't feel bad if you go to a Super Metroid speedrun and you can't beat it with 3 E-Tanks. It takes time to develop that, and it's okay to play at the level you're at. And if you're comfortable with a certain strat, then go ahead with it. And there was a reason I said that, but get ready. We're out of here. As soon as
this is it.
This is 2:30 right here.
We got bailed out.
It's a vanilla missile pack even.
Well, yeah,
there aren't even 230 missiles in Combo Rando. The ammo distribution is different.
Are they 185 missiles now?
I believe it's 200. It's. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
80.
Okay,
250, 80. Or it's 280, 50.
80,
rather.
50, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's just sort of a reworked distribution from Super Metroid. It's still 330 total ammo. It's just a shift.
Exactly. Because who actually needs 230 missiles?
Who actually needs 80 supers? I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, I need 60 supers when I don't have charge beam.
You could supplement those with your 230 missiles.
I guess that's fair. But there are 80, but I've never seen anyone actually find all 80 of them in a single rando. And Dorkmaster Flek is about to be rewarded with his Morph Ball, so we'll get to see some of that Super Metroid skill from Dork, and they'll try to catch up some time on routing or execution in Super Metroid here. Lackattack picked up a beam. Was it the duck beam? The quack wave beam? It looks like a little duck.
The quack wave beam? I'm not sure if that's the item he found. We'll see what happmes when he fires his beam.
It was definitely a beam. Okay. I just, out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a little, you know how like the beams all have like the little like monster dolls?
No. Please explain more cross products.
Well, the wave beam has like the little, the duck, the quacky quack guy. The charge beam's got like a little moon, like crescent moon monster doll. Plasma's got like a mini dragon. Spazer's got like a crab with a giant claw. You never noticed that?
Are you talking about the beam frogs?
I knew there was a reason I wanted to commentate with you. Yeah, the beam frogs.
Yeah, so we see Dorkmaster is doing some wall jumps up here to Gauntlet. These wall jumps are not in logic, despite the fact that wall jumps are in logic in normal mode. It's one of the great mysteries.
Speaking of not in logic, lackattack did a mock ball to get a missile pack out of logic.
Yes, so mock ball out of logic. So the items Lack just checked were behind Speed Booster. These items that Dorkmaster's checking are behind Speed Booster, or bombs, or space jump as the 3 points of access. So if they find something that is a progression item here, that, as Cross was saying earlier,
well, it's two missile packs. Lack's already checked them from behind.
Okay, well, we'll know those two missile packs are not behind space jump, or are behind space.
Oh, that's a red cane. That is in logic, that red cane. And that could potentially play into Ice Palace logic, but usually, the runners don't care about the Ice Palace logic. They just go and full clear it no matter what with bomb jumps. Anyway, so again, we're on normal logic, right? So the philosophy of normal logic, and Total, who is the creator of SMZ3, designed the logic with the intent that normal logic you can complete with only techniques you would learn from playing the game. Anything that you might see, like the creators just did the wall jumps down there, so wall jumps are in logic. You can see Samus Crystal Flash, which I don't think plays into logic, but because the heck runs aren't in logic. But you can see like diagonal shine sparks. Infinite bomb jumps is the big one that you see in the opening cutscene.
Yeah, but you would know that the opening cutscene also shows us Plasma SBA and Crystal Flash, and like Crystal Flash derived force stands are not included in the logic. So what gives, dude?
Really? I would think that should be in logic for a backboard sports spawn. And lackattack just a couple pixels too far to the right. He's gonna have to use an extra power bomb to break open this wall, but he is at that comfy 15 that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, 40 supers already is actually really nice for our runners. I guess it was my race against Lack last Saturday that supers were super scarce. I think we ended with like 35 or 40 after 3 hours. And so it's got to feel good to have that nice ammo early, especially without charge.
You guys were just doing like a hard mode Super Metroid rando though, weren't you? Or were you actually doing a combo rando? Well,
we were racing in this tournament.
Oh, so. I'm sorry. I was confusing a race, like a tournament race with it. I think you were streaming or something. I don't know. Anyway, Dorkmaster Flek is going to take a refill on their power bombs, which is very nice to have a full armament going in the Brinstar or even Wrecked Ship. We'll see which way they decide to go. And lackattack showing those flies. Who's boss?
Yeah, this is interesting from Dorkmaster. We'll have to see where he goes from here.
And
I do like refilling on the ML.
This is actually in logic. I'm so used to this item being out of logic, but Wave Beam does actually meet the normal mode requirement to get.
So Lack didn't shoot the door open after killing the hopper, so he's gonna have to kill him again on the way out. We'll see if he gets surprised by this door being gray. I couldn't tell if there was surprise there or not. He menued the missiles like he was ready for it. So we're gonna say he knew what he had done.
Oh, a blue mail. That would have been useful against blind. It would have halved the damage of the body hits. And also that red shield would have blocked the fireballs.
Yeah, clearly Brinstar was the play. Bail with Mirror from Skull Woods. Go immediately to Paradox Cave.
I mean, well,
no one's reasonably doing that.
It depends.
Unless they're very uncomfortable with blind.
I mean, when Dork goes back into Thieves Town, he's going to have a lot more comfort, even if it's just blue mail and red shield and that extra heart container. It's like that's going to make his revisit to Thieves Town a breeze. So
And there was another wall jump from lackattack that is not in logic, but does clean up the routing a little bit, although he is very low on power bombs here into this set of checks. If he doesn't find more power bombs over here, he's not going to be able to complete all the checks he'll
That's
want.
interesting that you say that wall jump is not in logic. First of all, I didn't know that. And second of all, it literally doesn't matter. Because you can just come from the other side with one power bomb.
Exactly. Yeah, you absolutely never need it to. It's not considered in logic, so it's technically not in logic. But that sort of wall jump technique is not consistent with what
I wonder if Total has a future door randomizer plan, but I don't know about that. Let's get Key Sanity all squared away first, and then we can ask him. Oh, that was actually a heart container. If they had come and taken that sequence broken item here, and Lack might get it on the way out. We'll see.
Yeah, Lack has 2 power bombs. He'll need 1 to get out from here, and 1 to check Old Mother Brain. So, we'll see if he finds more. I don't think he got the jump through this door, so we'll see him have to jump up onto the John Cena bridge. Yeah.
Is there a reason it's... Yeah, you want that, Lack. Okay.
That's a great bailout, actually. That's going to save him a power bomb. It doesn't let him check climb supers, but I don't know if he'll have wanted to anyway without
That's
speed
true.
booster.
You need 3. You need 2 to get in, 1 to get out. But it does mean that he'll be able to get Old Mother Brain as well.
Yeah, Old Mother Brain.
Wow,
and
bailing on the
for 230
on the heart container, which is fine. He got the blue mail and he has a bottle, so he'll be fine, folks. And Dorkmaster almost shooting a blue door with a super. Wow, I've been there. Except for the part where I realize it at the last second and don't do it, because I usually just do it. But yeah, that door is normally pink. It was blue because he had already opened it and forgot. But then remembered. Good for him. I'm not jealous.
I am, as with many others, very good at like supering my blue doors, leaving big pink, and that heart container is easy enough to grab.
Yeah, right.
I definitely understand skipping on that Rio ceiling boost one, just because that can be a little finicky. If Lack's not feeling comfortable with that, then it's probably easier to just skip it.
More importantly, Lack knows to skip the climb supers. So did a little bit of math in his head, realized he would need 3 power bombs to get out.
Yeah, Lack also, as mistaken as it is of the Solsky school of mind of not scouting that item. So I was pretty sure he was going to skip it based on some previous things that he's told me. And nice power bomb drop.
Yeah,
there
right. Speaking of
Rio, that's a nice drop.
We're gonna have our first check on Eastern Palace here, and nope, he's fluting. Where is he? No.
He's thinking about it.
Oh, you know what? He might check the closet and then flute to check Eastern, because he has the glove. He can take the quick, straight shot from the portal up to Eastern. I'm not sure what's faster because I've never played this game before, but Lack has, so I'm gonna trust their judgment. This is their final bomb.
Definitely the way.
A green rupee.
Wow. That was pretty trash right there. Thanks, Sahasrara.
I mean, what's normally there? Just bombs and 100 rupees? Not futuristic bombs and 1 rupee?
Yeah, normally...
9 rupees to upgrade the bombs.
Yeah, normally you get rupees there and bombs, and you can actually defend going there in NMG, but if those were the vanilla items for A Link to the Past, you would absolutely never choose to go there.
I mean, if you loaded up your Link to the Past game and there was missile packs in there.
Link doesn't know what to do with that crap, man. He doesn't want any of it.
All right, here's the back of escape check from lackattack. So this is that little bit of rubber banding since Dorkmaster had done a couple of extra overworld checks, but doesn't have the bomb. Oh,
yeah, the Jagate there from the bomb wall. Neither the boots nor the bombs needed to check those chests. We're gonna have to go spend that green rupee. Spend it well. Buy those bombs. See, if Sauce Rolla had his vanilla bombs, Lack would not have gotten screwed out of those checks right there.
Right. There are a couple of extra spots where you can look for bombs since you have a glove. But anyway, lackattack, I do like this. This is a pretty good chunk of Meridia that they can do. I'm going to say they probably won't full clear Meridia here. I probably would, but I'm an idiot, so... there's a very niche trick that could be done at this juncture to full clear Meridia. With an extra power bomb pack, I would be very encouraged to do that. But yeah, normally you're going to need Speed Booster logically to get through the pre-Batoon room, or Ice Beam if you know some of the more advanced strats. You can clip through that room. Or also logically, they could just find the flippers and come in from the back door.
Yeah, you know, I'm feeling like Kraid's Lair is probably the rational actor play.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
given that it's a boss and it's in logic.
You could think of the Golden 4 bosses as the crystal dungeons of Super Metroid. So if you're familiar with more of the Link to the Past side, you know, you normally want to clear out your crystal dungeons when you can. Well, Kraid is, for all intents and purposes, a crystal dungeon, right?
Yeah, exactly. This little area, like once you enter this blue mouth thing that Lack just passed through, this is like your crystal dungeon.
3 items here required to beat the game, so go for it.
Yeah, so Super Metroid is sort of a bunch of huge pendant dungeons that are full of a ton of items, and then sort of fairly short crystal-type regions if you're trying to cast it in strictly a Link to the Past language.
The true pendant dungeon of Super Metroid is, of course, Crocomire.
Or just all of Upper Norfair. Like, there's nothing in Upper Norfair that's going to help you beat the game
like
other than
lucrative.
items.
It's more like a lucrative overworld check, like East Death Mountain, I think.
That's fair. Upper Erect Ship, Tracy says in chat. That also is just a giant pendant region.
Oh, we're gonna get the gamer boost from Dork. Oh, so funny thing about Super Metroid, if you are changing your hitbox as you get hit, as Dorkmaster Flek turn around midair as you got hit by that gamer, you actually don't get any knockback frames, so you don't get the damage boost that he was looking for.
Did you catch that from Lack? The
I heard
whole,
it.
like, complete just random backup Kraid quick kill for high jump boots even.
Now, does high
why
jump
is this your favorite item?
Because Super Metroid is just awful to play without it, and I've run low ice, so I've done a large portion of the game without them. I've also done plenty of Super Metroid seeds that Tracy M has rolled, and those never have high jump boots in them. She's in chat; she can attest to that. But so yeah, now I'm curious, does high jump boots plus gravity suit open up wrecked ship logically?
It should, yes. Yeah.
That's interesting. So that's
because you can go via moat, but without speed booster, we're going to see people kind of stay away from that because you can get potentially trapped. It does make upper wrecked ship a more convenient clear, but it's still got a big, slow cutscene filled pendant.
You can get there from Forgotten Highway with gravity suit. Has anyone ever played a seed where the logical progression was actually to get into wrecked ship through Forgotten Highway? I'm not talking about Key Sanity or any Plandos or anything. I just mean like you had to get there through Forgotten Highway because you didn't have speed booster, grapple beam, space jump, all that stuff.
Okay, yes, I've had a seed where that was the case. I've not had it where it was forced, where you couldn't break it with the CWJ. You can get your first bombs or power bombs over there by backdooring to Meridia.
Oh, I know.
In logic. Yeah, fair enough, Cross. You would know. Cross, one of our community members who makes, or has in the past made Plandos for this, which are basically him being a jerk and thoughtful about it.
Yeah, none of that haphazard jerkitude, just
no, well crafted, thought out assholery.
What was that? That was just rupees at the main street, so no speed booster required for that item. I'm curious if lackattack actually knows the snail clip to get the 2 items in Aqueduct without Speed Booster. Again, out of logic, but perfectly attainable by any runner who knows the more advanced strategies that would actually be required in hard mode.
So funny that you bring that up. I hope he's learned it. It was a big swinging point in our race this past week. I snail clipped and got the cane in Aqueduct, and he passed on doing it. And so we'll see if he has chosen to learn. Yes, the important one.
So Dork just checks into the moat to get the bottle. Is he gonna? Okay, he's heading out. So I think you could actually also do a gravity jump to get an erect ship. That would not be in logic, but you can trick the game into getting extra height through underwater jumps if you have the gravity suit. Which is the next round going to be in difficult logic, or are we continuing with the normal mode when we move on to the next round?
This tournament is the normal mode logic, and fortunate to have that gravity suit screw attack out the important block there. That room can get really inconvenient if you don't have gravity, but luckily we do.
And that's the blue cane for Dorkmaster Flek.
The important cane, the cane that...
I'll tell you what item is very important. Cave. You know what's the most important item in lackattack's inventory right now?
Morph ball.
High jump boots.
Ah, I knew I was wrong. Why am I so
He
wrong?
would not be able to get up this red tower without high jump boots right now. He would have to go back through the Norfair portal and come back in a really convoluted way. So high jump boots...
He has spring ball.
Okay, sure. He could do that. You're right. Not logically, but you're right.
Logically, this lets him get up red tower, but that blue cane does open Spike Cave in the logic for our runners. So that's a thing to watch out for. That's one of those locations that we might see Dorkmaster rush in the same way that we saw him rush the mirror ledge.
Yeah, you might see that as a fetch quest. A lot of people like to prioritize what they call fetch quests, which is where you pick up one item that unlocks one location, which is typically not too far out of the way. Say the mushroom for the witch's hut or the bottle for sick kids, stuff like that.
In fairness, these morph ball checks have been pretty barren so far. We haven't really been getting a lot out of them. And so what that means as a runner...
I haven't seen anyone going to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, when those sorts of things happen, you tend to think, okay, well, what progression did I get? And that probably gates something bigger downstream. So I could see being aggressive about that blue cane play if we really do start to run thin on morph checks.
So you can make it across this little gap that Dork is dancing around, but it's not easy. Usually I go for it once, but it's not that big a deal to just wait for the bombable block to respawn there.
Yeah, it's kind of reasonable to go for it, because even if you miss it and fall through, as long as you don't get grabbed by the yapping maw or mom claw.
No, the mom claw is the one in Meridia that pulls you down into the farm room.
Okay, I've heard you call them all mom claw. In Gauntlet, you've called them mom claw as well. So
really? Oh, I was wrong then. I apologize.
Man, you were doubling down on me being wrong. You're just like, nope, I'm okay being wrong. You're wrong now.
Oh, we're gonna see that gravity jump here from Lack. Very smoothly done. That wasn't not in logic, but is it possible to get up there with high jump boots just wall jumping up the right side? I'm not actually sure. Okay.
Yeah, from one of the slopes lower on, you can get it. It's a lot easier with the gravity jump, though, so I like using the gravity jump. There, you can get it clean even without high jump boots, so it's nice.
There are 3 items in this room they call the Ocean. That's the bottom one, was the bomb capacity. You can scout the middle one, and Lack was trying to do that, but I know a lot of runners like to do that, and I might be in the minority, but I don't think it's worth it. All the effort to jump up there just to get a 2-frame glimpse of half of an item when it's not that far out of the way to just go get it while you're up there. But so, I could be wrong.
True story about that item is the CRT that I play on loses about half a tile on every edge of the screen. And so I literally cannot scout that item. I have to go down the stairs to check the item at Lumberjack. Things like that.
Oh no, that one's rough.
That feel real bad, and I've gotten punished by being unable to scout that item before.
The only thing that would be worse than that is having your dash on some dumb button like L and not having the ability to aim down.
Yeah, that makes racing RBO kind of awkward, doesn't it?
Yeah, for those that don't know, that is my personal experience. I still stand by the L dash, and I know that I'm taking like twice as much damage while farming for super missiles for Ridley, but that's why, I'd spend an extra 20 minutes to pick up extra E-tanks.
Just
I won that race, by the
Crystal
way.
Flash and go get extra E-tanks and whatever. Yeah,
To be fair, that was for the extra super missiles, not the E-tank.
Take this as you will, but I have heard people whose opinion... Sorry, go ahead.
lackattack was going for that Doppel on Fantoon. Unfortunately, the first missile hit the wall, which meant Fantoon despawned sooner than he wanted, and got a little bit of a miscount and enraged Fantoon. But yeah, some people were saying about aim down. Uh-oh, is it in the ether again?
Oh no, it was me having fun about something, but it's just not germane to the conversation anymore. It's gone in a completely different way, so I'm gonna just not bother.
You gotta stop deferring to me, man.
It's that or talk over you, and I'm not gonna do that. That's just trash commentary, so we're just gonna keep doing it. We're gonna lose some thoughts, and it's okay. I remember what it is now. So I've heard runners whose opinions about Super Metroid I actually respect defend your RBO route. So take it as you will.
I've at least heard some people say, maybe we should theory craft this. That was as much confirmation as I saw.
Yes, someone was like, I could see it, was basically the extent of it. And I was like, but really? And they said yes. And I won't throw that person under the bus by mentioning their name.
I know who it is.
But okay.
No, I think it was...
I'm not going to corroborate.
I know some people. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to. But I will say this, though. Not every world record runner has aim down mapped to L, by the way. Some of them have foregone the aim down. And by some of them, I mean Behemoth.
I was going to say, which world record runner would that
which
be?
one? One of them has foregone the aim down button.
Does he still have any world records?
Behemoth?
Because I don't think he does. He has Hundo. He has Hundo still.
He still has Hundo?
He still has Hundo by a lot.
Which actually, that's kind of funny because there is a specific room. There are a couple of points in the 100% route. Get out of here, robot! Hey.
We're gonna see high jump right here for Dorkmaster Flek. He was on the right ledge, trying to get a little run speed. Oh, now he's going for the gravity jump. He had the right setup, but just bailed. Nice gravity jump, though.
So I was saying, there are a couple of points in the 100% route that having no aim down button specifically hurts you. Two that come to mind are the Gold Torizo fight. The optimal strat is to just sit there, crouch, aim straight up, which there is no function to aim straight up while crouching if you do not have aim down mapped to L, because you have to crouch and hold L and R, right? So he has this insane Gold Torizo strat where he still manages to get a double hit with every plasma shot, just like by jumping up in the air and knowing when to do it. So he made that work. The other thing is the wraparound shot to get to Gauntlet, where normally you would just stand there and hold L and shoot at the door. He's got some really crazy setup that it looks like nobody could make work but Behemoth, the man himself, and he makes it work every time. So there are ways around having no aim down, but probably not in RBO. Fair.
Yeah, there's that. There's the mock ball to speed. There's little differences that you notice with the no angle down strats. But so far, Rex Ship not turning up too much for our runners. That extra energy tank is a nice one, though, for lackattack there at the vanilla Rex Shippy tank. That's like our 4th or 5th vanilla item so far.
I would say if I had not gone ahead with the scumbag save before checking it, I would reset. But I think that With Gravity Suit 3 tanks, I might have just gone for it without the save, and I'd be happy to see it. If I had saved first, I would have been like, well, I'm not getting this E-tank as much as I want it. But yeah, having 4 E-tanks with the knowledge of Varia Suit and the possibility of Heck runs being in the very near future, I do not blame lackattack for keeping that E-tank. Again, if you just tuned in, Varia Suit is at the library shelf, so that's going to require Pegasus boots before they can get Varia Suit.
Yeah, boots not in upper or lower Norfair, but could be basically anywhere else.
Ooh, and another Enrage from Fantoon for Dork, so Dork and Lack even on that one.
Yeah. Fantoon not being the nicest, but is giving some pretty quick patterns and the nice fast reappear there for Dork. And we're getting the double Enrage. This is...
So in case you're not sure what's happening, super missiles deal 600 damage to Fantoon, and if you shoot Fantoon with a super missile and do not finish it off, then you'll get this Enrage phase, which fortunately is pretty safe with the screw attack, but unfortunately is costing quite a bit of time.
Yeah, Dorkmaster does make it through Fantoon, though. So is going to make it to the rest of the wreck ship, probably find that 4th E-tank and all the other things that we've seen, which has been mostly nothing so far for Lack. But
how do you
we'll
feel
see.
about...
Here's an item that they can't get, and it's just missiles.
How do you feel about checking this item from behind?
I like it a lot when you don't have Speed Booster. When you do have Speed Booster, it depends on health and other things about the loadout. It's kind of a 50-50 for me. But I do like scouting it just to know what it is and to mark it off.
I always figure you have to go down for the item on the Chozo statue anyway, and we're going to get a fun intended strat to get these cliff missiles from lackattack. But I always figure, why add those 2 door transitions when you have to go down and get the item on that Chozo statue anyway? But runners that are way better than I am, including yourself, do prefer to check it from behind first.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to die on that hill.
Like, you save a power bomb and going over and sparking up, or if you don't have speed, it's even worse because you have to wall jump up and power bomb it out, and either like do it in the middle of an IBJ, or you have to go and wall jump back up again to scout the it's not a convenient scout from either side. I don't mind the play of just committing and blind checking it, especially if I'm like go mode -5 or something. But that's part of why I don't want to be in wreck ship early. Like, it all goes toward not liking doing this stuff.
And the item Lack was unable to scout earlier was a power bomb pack, and Lack is going to pick that up. And possibly, I can't read the runner's minds, of course, but possibly has that Norfair heated rooms in mind, which I think would be a fantastic play just for the sheer knowledge of narrowing down where those Pegasus boots are going to be.
Yeah, I'm not wild about doing the heated rooms play here without Varia. I think that there's enough other stuff going on, and that the seed hasn't been giving them a lot. The thing that I really want to do here is I want to go over to Spike Cave. And I know that sounds, well, maniacal, but I really do believe in the play, just because we haven't found a lot of progression, and we found exactly that blue cane. And that opens exactly one item location. So, I mean, eventually it could be part of opening up Laser Bridge as well, but we're so far away from that.
I also kind of have a general philosophy of, you know, sequence breaking for the sake of sequence breaking is oftentimes worth it. And yeah, we got flippers there for lackattack. So speaking of sequence breaks, a lot of runners will have checked the Hobo and some of the Zora location checks without those flippers. But whoop.
Yeah, so that Bombos coupled with those flippers was actually really, really scary. If we find Titan's Mitts, that's Green Pendant Ice Palace is a thing that may have just opened up to our runners.
You know what just
But
opened up with those flippers, though? The most important thing that... Oh, never mind. I forgot. They already have glove. Doesn't matter. I was thinking the flippers give them Dark World access, but... they already got the glove
we've already
an hour ago.
We already like struggle bust our way.
I mean, I missed
down.
that, to be honest. Cross Product left when they checked the 230 missiles, and I've been taking over since then. So I missed some of the early game checks. So I apologize for missing that.
Okay, so I guess I've been joined by Dot Product, and is now commentating with me.
Oh so man, this is also a hookshotless swamp possibility with those flippers.
Let's see. What is Lack gonna do here? I think we're going back to A Link to the Past. We could see that Eastern play if he's taking this portal. Okay. I'm a fan of getting to Death Mountain, doing that Spike Cave check, and then assessing whether I want to do the flippers stuff. Looks like Lack is biasing toward the flippers first.
Has anybody been here yet?
And he's gonna go farm He's gonna go farm rupees.
He's going to Ice Rod Cave, but he doesn't have a bomb.
He has the bomb rock, the 50/50, and he's going to be able to refarm the bomb rock over and over, or maybe he doesn't know about the. He knows about the 50/50 rock. He's gonna have to farm it, but he's gonna want, or no, he doesn't need to farm rupees, but he's gonna do this and try to get. Man, this is kind of bad.
So either he thinks, oh, I was wrong, there isn't a bomb here, or, well, that could be it. He could have thought it was a bomb location and didn't realize it was a 50/50.
Yeah, it was almost a heads-up play for a bad circumstance, but we might be seeing the hobo check and maybe some purchase of bombs. So that rock that he grabbed, the first one.
There's a bomb shop right up. If he goes up to the ramp toward the Crossworld portal.
Exactly, and that's what I was thinking would be good, but he would have wanted to farm some rupees there, just so that he'll also be able to pay Zora.
He's probably thinking, man, I never would have thought that I'd want Shovel in this situation.
Ooh, well, there's Speed Booster behind the flippers.
And knowing that that's such a common early game sequence break, any runner that finds that an hour in might feel behind. Of course, we know as commentators and viewers that Lack was the first person to get that Speed Booster, but that was something that was attainable. Is attainable at Sphere 1 despite not being in Logic.
Correct. However, it's kind of off meta to make that play in SMZ3, so while you're aware that your opponent could have done it, you know that that's kind of a rare play for a runner to make.
Who's going to get a green potion here?
Yeah, that's a good play.
Another V11 change here, guaranteed green potion from Waterfall. I believe both fairies. Oh, there you go. Oh no! The first one was a godsend. The second one was a slap in the face.
Yeah, the one slash tells us all we needed to know about that one. That was spicy right there. I like it. This game has a sense of humor. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's very, very self-aware. And we're walking the slow way, so it is faster to swim here, but swimming's also annoying, so maybe just one to walk. All right,
like our 7th reserve tank.
Yeah, we're thinking about maybe not picking that one up, but I think Lack's on like 4 tanks, 1 reserve. You take it.
I mean, that's don't pollute, guys. If you throw your trash in the rivers, we're just gonna give it to Link. So Lack is not immediately turning in that bomb find.
No, he is. He is turning wow. He is checking behind bombs. I forgot about
this one.
We have multiple things that are behind bombs that we've been waiting to check, and here's the first of them. And yeah,
well on his
we
way
know
to,
this is nothing.
but well on his way to getting enough money back to get into Palace of Darkness at least.
Yeah, that is a thing actually. No bow yet, so no guarantee that we'd be able to complete it, but it's
Ooh,
very possible, especially with
gotta
that green
say,
potion, that we could do everything else.
I like this save from Dork. So he's leaving out with that speed booster and he's saving with the speed booster, but now he has the option to check Zora, reset, get his money back, and then go immediately into Super Metroid and use that speed booster to pick up a couple extra checks while he's there. But is he gonna do? Might just go into pod? No, wait, that wouldn't be the. But I don't. We'll just wait and see what he does. Oh, go to Catfish. Yeah, good point, chat. So if he wants to go to Catfish, then mirror and check the Zora checks from there. That's pretty smart. And of course, pick up Pyramid on the way.
Yeah, this is a good check. And Pyramid's one of those ones that, again, it's an out-of-the-way check. We're seeing Dorkmaster prioritize some of these out-of-the-way checks,
But
and
doing a lot of them
in
together.
such a way. Yeah, he's sequencing them in such a way that he's putting them ahead of some of the obvious checks so that if they hit, it'll be an advantage for him. And those are things that could be a lot more difficult to route in once you isolate them by doing some of the more dense regions that they're near. So I do like this series of plays.
And do remember that Flek and lackattack have already raced each other in this tournament, and lackattack did walk away with a victory there, so perhaps Dorkmaster Flek is just employing a different strategy and hoping this will work out better for him.
Yeah, I always love when you get like a best of 3 match with someone, or a first to 2 wins match with someone, and you have time between game 1 and game 2 to do a little bit of meta work. And that's what we have here, actually, because this is an exact 2 seed versus 3 seed rematch here in Group W. We do have that the runners have had over a week to kind of think about what they did, what they would do differently if they were to play it again. We might be seeing Dorkmaster act on some of the things that he's kind of meted out.
And those were 2 kind of out of the way of those Sphere 1 checks. We had Aeginus Cave as well as Ice Ride Cave. Not really finding much. See what the Catfish has in store for Dorkmaster Flek.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we haven't seen either of our runners, and I see a little bit of this mentioned in chat, heading back to Meridia, just because that speed booster puts Dragon in logic is kind of...
That's a fantastic item for Dork, the Ice Beam.
Yeah, so speed plus ice. His Zev skips are online. He's even got Spring Ball.
Yeah, that's going to save them some time in Torian, right? So we do finally have someone heading in the Eastern Palace here and clearing up the Sphere 1 checks, but actually going to take that portal all the way to the entrance, but doesn't have enough money for the monkey. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, he's a little light on rupees right now. He's not light on pterodactyl friends. Chibi Ridley is following him aggressively.
Chibi Ridley. That one's going in the book. Thank you.
Yeah, you have full rights to use that one. It's in the public domain.
Thanks.
Yeah, so Lack mirroring out of Kiki.
All he got out of that was minus 10 rupees.
Yeah, shoutouts to Hammer on Zora.
Yep. And while lackattack is clearing up these Sphere 1 checks, I do want to remind everybody that this tournament is for money. Dorkmaster Flek and lackattack are fighting for the chance to move on to the next stage of the tournament, where they will be competing for cash prizes provided by Rank 1 Gaming. You can go to rank1.global. It's kind of it's like a social networking site by gamers for gamers. You can set up your profile with what your favorite games are, what you've been playing recently, your tags on various sites like Twitch and Discord and all that good stuff. And yeah, they've been so gracious to provide some prizes for us. So make sure you go check them out. And while you're there, you can see the runners' profiles there, rank1.global/Dorkmaster or /lackattack24. Got some links in chat for you, and you can see them right there on the stream as well. So here we have the Meridia clear up, since we have not only the speed booster, but also the ice beam in case he feels like styling a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to see a little 2-tap here, or actually it looked more like a stutter 3, and then a nice spark there to grab those Main Street rupees.
A 2-tap. If you can get that shine spark with a 2-tap, I want you to show me.
That's a 2-tap no stutter shine spark.
Did he do it from the door or from the bottom?
From the ledge, not from the door.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say
the door is like
the bottom.
The door is a stutter 3, I think.
Yeah, the bottom door
at best, or a type 4.
The bottom door, I usually do a stutter 3. I was gonna say there's no way that's a 2-tap, but if he does it from the longer ledge. Okay.
Yeah.
We do have this dark room in logic for lackattack. Remember, we found lamp very early on in the seed, so this was an item that was available since Kakariko well, I believe.
Yeah, this is a sphere 2 check if we're going to track logic spheres, because lamp was sphere 1, and that's the only thing this is behind.
Didn't catch if he picked up the map and compass yet, though, so it could actually be nothing. And Dork is going into the crab room to get a super missile pack. That's pretty good. I mean, you don't want to spend extra time farming them for Ridley. You certainly don't want to go into Mother Brain short on ammo. So yeah, that was just a missile pack. So yeah, I think that was it for our early game spheres.
Yeah, and because that was such an early sphere, it was unlikely that it was going to be anything, but for thoroughness, like, you're not going to leave that behind. We do have plenty of rupees now, so now Kiki is going to be our friend and take our money. That's how friends work, right?
Yeah, the true friends were the rupees we found along the way. Wait.
And they're gone.
He still has enough left over for a blue pot. We're two... Speaking of blue pots, he probably... Oh, he has the green pot. Remember, he threw the bottle into the fairy fountain before, looking way ahead of this play into pod, realizing he's going to use that potion in order to do a minor glitch to bypass the requirement for bow, which wouldn't necessarily be required yet since there was a small key there. But...
yeah, it's definitely something that as a runner you're going to be tracking where pod is when it bow locks you and what you find behind the bow lock. So typically, especially if you're committed to bow breaking, like using that magic potion, we're going to see runners very aggressively use their keys. So for instance, the vanilla big key location would have to be a small key if this down here is a small key in order to let us to the back of pod. If we find another non-small key item, we know the entire back of pod is bow locked.
Mm-hmm. And that's the third bottle for Dork. Doesn't need to do the snail clip since they have speed booster. But as I was saying before, with just in general, sequence breaks provide you extra knowledge. So you skipped the requirement for bow in order to get keys, right? So if you find something that's technically locked by the bow, then later on when you need that bow to finish the game, you know it's not going to be behind those items that you found, right?
Exactly. So sequence breaks, or breaking the logic in this, is much more a play of sort of convenience and getting information often than it is of even just the benefit of the items. It's the benefit of the items you get from the break plus the information you get, which sometimes can be absolutely massive. We'll see if we find anything. Sandpit, unfortunately, nothing for Dorkmaster Flek.
I think anything else Lack finds here is going to be locked behind bow because he's only got one key left to check any of a few locations here, right? Unless there's a small key in Heckway.
I was going to say, Harmless Hellway being a small key would open the maze, I believe. And then there has to be a small key on the right side, the bow side. And we did get the big key here in the back, which was nice because there was a risk that was going to be on the right side and we would have to double dip for this chest.
All right, so unable to go into the Heckaway, which means either there's an item there and 2 keys on the right, or it's just a small key lock behind itself.
It's much more likely, the key layouts, that it's the small key locked behind itself. But looks like we're not going to see the break of right side. Lack deciding to stay sort of in the logic and not dig out those items, which entirely okay. Nice use of that fire shield.
Yeah, where are we heading from here? Is it the hook shotless swamp dream, or is it perhaps the backdoor Meridia from here?
I like the backdoor Meridia play a lot more than I like the swamp play, but I could kind of get the it's been going pretty slow for a while. Maybe I'm just going to gamble the swamp play.
Well, you know where you
like
think hookshot is. If we, according to you, hookshot is in Spike Cave, so.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. That blue cane was screaming at me when we found it, and then we found flippers, and flippers have been kind of trash. So unless Back of Meridia turns up the goods, which so far we haven't really seen anything from Dorkmaster.
Yeah, the flippers they doubly unlocked Meridia, right? So not only would the flippers get you in the back door, but they also gave us speed booster, which gives us in the front door. So either side would be locked behind the flippers, logically.
Yeah, the thing that keeps me away from Spike Cave right now is that speed booster and the climb supers and waterway locations that they unlocked, which we've not seen yet. And
also, the power bomb pack in the ship area.
Oh yeah, the one that I always forget. If you ever find something there against me, just know that you're going to win. I just straight up forget that location 80% of the time, including tonight.
Usually I'll just get a blue suit and not only in multi-worlds though, not in races.
Yeah, multi-worlds are another way to play this game that's probably even more degenerate and also a lot of fun. Shoutouts to Total, who's been putting a lot of active work into developing this game. We've got multi-world recently. Key Sanity is in beta. There's a lot of variants of this game that are coming live or coming live in the very near future that are going to bring a lot of diversity and a lot of fun to play experiences for people.
That's Ice Beam for lackattack.
Yep.
So I think the most efficient way to take out Dragon here would be with Shine Sparks. With 5 E-Tanks, it's a little more comfy than any percent, but Dorkmaster already priming the super missiles there. Will only require 20 super missiles as well, so that's another good option. Hey, we have your wish here, I think, Maniacal.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I've been on this location for a while, and so I'm excited. I wouldn't be surprised if it's nothing because of that speed booster, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is progression.
Cape. I'm calling Cape.
That's a bold call.
Put it all on Cape.
He doesn't even use the cape. He uses cane.
But see, logic, like the intended strat to get through this room. I was gonna say missile. That was my second guess, missile pack. But the intended strat is actually to get the cape in order to go in there for the blue cane, right? I think.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know vanilla, like all the Y item locations in A Link to the Past, or what the game expects you to do or not do.
I think I know pretty much, all the inventory items, and here we're going to get the speed booster checks from Lax, starting with the Criteria Power Bomb spot.
Yeah, that's good.
As far as heart pieces go, the ones that are, outstanding there, I think are just all heart pieces. Air capacity. But some of the heart pieces are in chests, I believe, and who knows where those are. Probably 100% all chest runners.
Yeah, there's so many locations in A Link to the Past, and lackattack didn't break this location earlier, so he does not know about the front item of Gauntlet, only was able to scout the back items. There is
Yeah.
a piece of heart here, if I remember right, so nothing major.
Yeah, we could just have a reset since lackattack's save point is right back on the ship there and probably doesn't care about the.
So
There we go.
these spikes hurt quite a bit. Gravity does not impart environmental protection to Dorkmaster Flek,
How
so
do you
they're
feel
dealing
about
60
this?
a pop.
How do you feel about this plasma check?
I like it. It's consistent with the way Dorkmaster's been playing the entire seed. It seems to align with his philosophy in this race, and I think it's a great check. How do you feel?
It's in logic. He's got screw attack.
Yep, it's in logic. He's been able to beat Dragon. It's kind of one of those locations that people are gonna want to skip, and so if he finds something, you know, he's sitting pretty with whatever he finds here, and he honestly isn't losing that much. So item skips in SMZ3 tend to not pay off that much because the upside is that you save, what, 30 seconds here, maybe 60 to 90 seconds, whereas the downside is you miss that item location, and when are you going to get back to it? And so it can delay your finish by 30 plus minutes.
So Plasma Room's also a good time to point out some of the logic philosophy that Total has employed in placing the items. Now, obviously, you could just come into this room, check the item, and then leave. Some of the other Super Metroid and Link to the Past random developers say that's enough to be in logic, but Total's logic philosophy is you should be able to check the item and get out without soft locking. So that item is actually not in logic unless you have a way to kill those pirates and leave the room, which Screw Attack and High Jump Boots together give them.
Correct. In normal logic, the Screw Attack or the Plasma Beam is required as a way to kill the pirates. In other logics, you can also be required to use Speed Booster and or Charge Beam as ways to deal with them. And then,
important fact, Hyper Beam does not kill plasma pirates. So don't go into that room after killing Mother Brain like someone might have done at some point in history.
It's actually very interesting. I was unaware of Hyper Beams functioning that way.
Yeah, I actually went and immediately updated the wiki. I was like, just in case anybody needs to know, plasma pirates are immune to Hyper Beam.
All right, so we see Lack is getting back to some of these things that Dorkmaster did a while ago, some of these one-offs. These are things that runners will tend to sequence very, very late because they are a little bit isolated and a little bit slower. We know that they're nothing, but they are things that he's kind of getting around to later. And so he's not actually gaining time over Dorkmaster, it's just a matter of sequencing. So if they were something, this would have worked out great for Dorkmaster.
Honestly, any of these remote locations that lackattack checks now, Dorkmaster is gaining time over lackattack because Dorkmaster routed them in more efficiently and more thoroughly the first time he was up in that area, right? Lackattack has to go all the way from a starting point to this graveyard ledge, whereas Dorkmaster did it while he was clearing out Skull Woods.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also, now we haven't found a lot of movement value, but there's also the potential that Dorkmaster can leverage now any additional movement value he has in the time that is basically your time later in a seed is more valuable than your time earlier, just because on average you have faster movement in both games. And so sequencing bad, slow things early is better than sequencing bad, slow things late. Just in a mean field way. And looks like we are going to see Lack heading for Backdoor Meridia. At this point, it looks like that was not the play, and so... Swamp?
Did lackattack make it to the sand pits? I mean...
Waterway? We saw both sand pits from Flek.
I don't think climb supers have even been scouted yet, and it looks like we're about to get that from Dork.
Yeah, so we have the speed booster check here, and at Waterway, we have I'm being told Bomb Chorizo has not been checked, but
I saw
that
it
seems
on their
odd
map.
to me.
Yeah, that was called out earlier that Lack possibly didn't check it, but I did see the Alcatraz highlighted pink on his map after someone had pointed that out.
Yeah, these boyons here are a little obnoxious, but that catfish ice beam
Oh wow!
putting
So
away, and yeah,
that's an item that Lack potentially would have scouted earlier had he a third power bomb before, unless he's went to Solsky school. Like,
he did go to Solsky school, as wrong as that is, and so he's gonna get punished for it.
Yeah, are your schools like rivals or something?
No, just our mascots. The schools don't mind each other.
The eggplant and the Katamari or whatever.
Something like that.
Hey, we got some practice short charges from Lackattack and some blue potion pickups from Dork.
Yeah, so what's Dorkmaster gonna do with these mitts now? Looks like
East Death Mountain. He would put the flute. Maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe we're just fluting away from here.
No hook shot or even boots. So Dark Death Mountain's only 2 checks and a medallion scout at this point. Maybe he feels like he can go back into Thieves Town now. You know, he's got plenty more. Not a better sword yet, surprisingly, but way more hearts, about triple the number of hearts in a blue mail. So I like this. Picking up where he left off. Also, this is really good. It'll help him route in Hammer Cave, or maybe not do Thieves Town at all. I don't know.
So, if Dorkmaster's game plan is what I think it is, I actually really like getting back to Thieves here because it lets him do Smith sequence aggressively out of this. Because he just got the mitts in a bad spot, and so leveraging that against the mitts locked checks that people are most likely to sequence last is actually a really, really clever play. I'm a big fan of this if he follows this through Smith sequence and hammer pegs.
The mitts, like you said earlier, are also going to unlock Ice Palace since they picked up the Bombos medallion.
Yeah, we've got Ice, which is a pendant.
Meyer with the flute as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that is suddenly open.
I'm sorry. They cannot complete Meyer, but they can get to 3 overworld locations.
Yes. You can go into Meyer and
also check lower north there.
Yeah, that's that the laugh there gives away the value of that play.
Not only could they be missing a required medallion, but also the first room of Misery Mire is going to require either boots or hookshot, neither of which they have. Pegasus boots, that is.
Yep, we can go in and we can farm some jellies or whatever they are, those little floor slimes, and that's about all we can do in Mire.
The low percent strat to get your arrows back after you died of Vitreous, right?
Oh my god. I'm glad that I was not aware of that, and I'm going to scrub it from my mind. But yeah, I guess that's a thing. Is it possible to, like, Moldorm bounce or the equivalent across that pit with just bombs and like a slime boost?
There's definitely no logical way. I believe it's 3 tiles, the gap?
Yeah, so, I'm curious if it works left to right.
There's no Moldorm there, only slimes.
Yeah, there are only slimes in the floor. If there were Moldorms in the floor, that would be terrifying. I guess that's kind of what the Ice Palace conveyor floor is, because it moves randomly. Is that the Moldorm conveyor? I guess it does only move cardinally, so no.
That's random? I thought it was on a timer.
I think it moves back and forth. Like, I don't know. If it's on a timer, I just don't do the room consistently at all. Then.
Well, hey, nobody does that room anymore, so don't worry about it.
Fair enough. People without cane do that room.
Yeah, I guess.
But otherwise, no one does it anymore.
It only moves. Not only does it only move cardinally, it only moves left and right. It doesn't even go up and down.
You know what? None of your rationale.
But it might be random. You might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here musing about this garbage room.
Nice
All right,
comfy blue cane blind fight here.
Yeah, this is going to be a cozy blind. So far, doesn't need it. Lots of hearts and lots of magic. This is going to be good. Turning the cane on and off to save a little bit of magic, and this will get cleaned up pretty quickly.
So we've
got.
Like
we are going to see that plasma check from Lack as well.
Yeah, Lack, I believe, saved an aqueduct, so he'll be able to reset as soon as he sees the item. So might gain a little bit of time over Dork with the backup save. Not sure.
Will definitely. But yeah, Meridia. There's a lot of different philosophies. That was a nice wall jump there from Lack. A little tough to get up onto that ledge without using a right side wall jump. So we'll see how he feels about his heart container here at Plasma. Given that he's been skipping a lot of heart containers so far, I think we're just going to see a very easy reset.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have that Dorkmaster Flek continuing his philosophy of let's do the stuff nobody else wants to do. And this is 3 checks, though, so if something's going to come out of this strategy, this is a very good time for it to happen.
Yeah, this is potentially a game-swinging play just because you've got to get to climb supers, which I think is probably fairly soon on Lack's list, but then you've got all these Mitz-locked locations. And so what do you do from there? This is not high on most people's list, and Lack having already finished Thieves, it's just not, that could be big.
That does guarantee entrance into Turtle Rock if they want to go for those 2 Death Mountain checks. And I mean, there's no fire rod, but I've seen worse things than a fire rod in Turtle Rock.
Like, I mean, 44% chance that's useful mean field. So we aren't sure if that's a haymaker, but it could be a really, really big play for Dorkmaster.
Alright, Smith's not paying off, but we are going to have an easy purple chest turn in. We can use the flute to get to Gary and deliver his lunchbox pretty quickly.
Yeah, and this is all very good checks here from Dorkmaster, and we'll see what he chooses to do after this. I wouldn't be surprised to see the flute to Meyer area and then investigate, but I'd be surprised if he chooses to complete Meyer with this loadout based on how he's, Tell
me, Maniacal,
his preference.
What item is it again that's normally in that purple chest in vanilla?
I believe it is a piece of heart, but I'm not sure.
I believe it is a bottle.
Okay, man, I don't know. They're all trash.
Hey,
chat knows.
Some people pick up bottles and
I was playing the odd. There's a lot of piece of hearts out there, and they're mostly in crappy spots.
I wonder if I were routing an NMG run and I wanted to pick up 4 extra heart pieces, I wonder where I would get them. I think that probably the one on top of Spectacle Rock would be easy. I think the one going in the Swamp Palace, if it weren't too late in the run to be worth it, that would be a good one. So I see chat
pick
telling
up the
me
mushroom instead that I should be running 100%, presumably 100% Link to the Past, because I do run 100% Super Metroid, and based on my experiences with Super Metroid Hundo, I can promise you that has not made me any better at knowing what items are in what locations. I just know what locations the items are in. And so I don't think that would fix the problem.
We have a late Sphere 1 check from Dork, so he's going to double back on some of the stuff Lackattack has done, and Lackattack is going to give us some new information at Waterway here.
Yeah, this is going to get him to his mitts pretty quickly. Is this new? I felt like Dorkmaster probably should have done this with his Criteria Supers check.
Just the heart piece. I was gonna say if this were a hook shot, then that could kind of troll Lack, but it would be good, but it would put off his mitts. So we have 3 overworld checks from Dork. It could potentially hop into lower Norfair and get the 1 item in Screw Attack Room. Not even that would be in logic without Varia's suit. However, it would be a pretty quick check on his way here. I want to see Pegasus boots in one of these 3 chests, though.
I like that. I feel like it's about time for the boots to show up. I wouldn't be surprised here or Dark Death Mountain.
Or even inside of Desert Palace. I think. Oh, you know what? We're gonna get the dream key on the torch. Oh no, I need boots, and then boots in the middle room. And then oh crap, that's Varia's suit. Let me piece out of this pendant dungeon. Man, middle chest in desert. It's a classic location for boots. Oh, there's the key. Wait for it.
All right, yeah. Let's see. Are you a prophet?
No.
That's right. You're doing this for free.
10 sticks.
That was not boots. That's why we don't pay you. But no, that's okay.
We are going to get the
stolen key.
Yeah, this is. I like this play. So, Dork.
I think he wanted to Crystal Flash, and the Boyan said, "Absolutely not. None of your crap."
I don't think that he lost too much other than his geographical progress there, since he saved before going to Plasma.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dorkmaster Flek is taking the small key out of the back of Desert, and he's going to use that to open up the side and get potentially 2 items. Well, it's going to be something and a big key, and then go back to the big chest, right? So this is a sequence break. It would be logically locked behind the boot still. However, it could be something good.
Yeah, it's always good to keep these tracked here, and just if he's gonna full clear this side anyway, he's going to get the big key. He's gonna be able to check the big chest. He was gonna need to come over here at some point anyway.
Yeah, and I think I really like this play for 2 reasons. 1, it's a pendant dungeon, so you might not ever have to come back here anyway. And 2, with the Varia suit locked behind the boots, you know that if you have to come back and finish Desert, you're gonna have the boots. They're coming soon, right?
Absolutely.
And Dork did not check the big chest. Although, was there a... Oh, there was a... No, it was 2 items. There were 10 arrows in the middle chest, and then... Okay. So yeah, Dork is done there. Barring some kind of tragic pedestal check later. But again, he'll have the boots for that. It's not one of those seeds where boots might end up in Ganon's tower, and it's going to be really hard to come back. Well, I guess... Never mind. Boots aren't going to be in Ganon's tower anyway. And here we have our heck runs for Lackattack, finally. Plenty of ammo for crystal flashing here. Going to have to drain those reserves first. Looks like a... Ooh, went a little low there. Got it at about 7 energy, so you want to be between 1 and 50 energy when that crystal flash animation is actually to take place. Went into the wrong pit, oops. But, yeah, this is... What, I could not tell what that was. Is that a mushroom? Okay. Those colors clashed pretty badly between the lava and the red of the mushroom. But yeah, this is actually a play that I was kind of gunning for early because it would help them narrow down the location of the Pegasus boots. But at this point, I mean, they're pretty close to out of checks, right? Did Dork not? Okay, I guess it was Lack that checked Spike Cave earlier. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Dark Death Mountain either Super Bunny Cave for 2 or Turtle Rock even. Yeah, because Pod has already been cleared up to the point where the logical progression is done. Alright, Lack's gonna have a good farm spot here. Might use Screw Attack or... Oops.
Yeah, this is dicey. He does have a bunch of reserve tanks that we're seeing. I'd like to see him menu that Ice Beam off.
Yeah, either turn off the Ice Beam or use Screw Attack to farm here. Fortunately, with Speed Booster, it's going to be easy to check the item at the bottom of the hill and then get back with minimal energy. And if he's lucky, he'll at least find an energy tank there for a refill.
Yeah, and this death that we saw Lack take at Climb Supers is just looming so large. Dying to those Boyans there right before he could get his mitts. Like, I have to wonder if he's just like, okay, if that's what it is, I'm just kind of stuck. But that's a great E-tank to find.
Mm-hmm. It could only be Variasu in hard logic, so...
And here we see another slow set of sort of condensed checks that people would be kind of inclined to put later in the Dark Death Mountain checks.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Hook Shotless Swamp, we've got Pendant Ice Palace with a Fighter Sword, we've got Turtle Rock without Fire Rod. Like, what do you want from this game? Which of these terrible scenarios do you want?
Okay, so we have Morph Bombs. That's kind of nice, but not going to do much.
Unfortunately, that Ether hasn't yet paid off. Did we? We were in the Mire area. I didn't catch the medallion requirement for Mire.
Yeah, I don't know if we saw it actually, but this is interesting. Those bombs are passage through worst room in the game, or high jump boots. Never mind. They are a way to backdoor if we find the boots though. So from the Screw Attack side, but we could also Speed Booster out. So the bomb's not doing much beyond being convenience.
Very smart lackattack going into the non-heated room to perform the Crystal Flash, because you do actually take damage from the heat as your health is refilling with the Crystal Flash. So doing it and making sure to get 50 energy or less, and then doing it here. Dork went
really weird.
Did Dork get the one chest in Turtle Rock? I believe
he did. He got a small key and then he just left.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know why you don't go to Chomps there. I'm gonna have to like try and remember that one to ask about, because that was a very strange play choice.
No matter what, Dork won't be able to finish Turtle Rock without that Ice Rod Lackattack just found. And also, I don't want to let this go by. Lackattack missed a jump in Bubble Mountain and had a really smooth Ice Beam backup. So I wanted to make sure I called that out.
So did you see what Dork just found in Super Bunny?
Was that a hook shot?
That was a hook shot. That is a jerk spot for hook shot. That's really
where we can use hook shot right here.
That is a horrible spot for hookshot, because you don't want to come up here without hookshot. If boots are here in hookshot cave, this is a massive lead for Dorkmaster.
Like, maybe you would want to come up here if you could do Turtle Rock, but they can't even do that.
Okay, and nothing in hookshot cave, but that is swamp. Looking like a place we could go.
Yeah, crystal, full clearable, 6 items. Seems like a good play.
Yep, I'd be surprised after getting a hook shot there to do anything but go to swamp. But he's going a different place. I'm not sure where he's going.
Doing the shovel.
He wants to
pick up the shovel up there as well.
He just got the shovel. That makes sense.
If this is boots, that's just like, it's exactly where he wants to be to use the boots and get far easy.
Yeah. Like, that would just be an absolute sick run.
Nope.
Yeah. Leaving Turtle Rock is so weird there for Dorkmaster. That one's one that still isn't making much sense to me. Like, You could potentially still get all the way to Laser Bridge.
Lackattack is going to double down on a sequence break and hope that mushroom pays off. As far as we know, it could be fire rods still, right? If Boots come in Ice Palace or early. Oh, just power bombs.
Yeah, you don't need to menu to the bottle, but you sometimes maybe just want to check if you have the empty bottle. And he's gonna fill at least one more bottle. He doesn't have money to fill all of them.
He did open pod, right?
Yeah, he was in pod early. He didn't do the bow lock side.
Good.
And here's Dorkmaster into Swamp, so we'll see if he finds anything in Bootless Swamp. As Lack might be making the same play, but without the hook shot.
Well, it could still have Boots in the front half before the hook shot spots, right?
It could. We know Dorkmaster's going to be able to complete the dungeon this go around under just about every circumstance. He'll be logically allowed to complete it.
If there's one dungeon that you don't want to double dip, I think it's Swamp Palace, since you have to go through this whole sequence of mirror, drain, go back into the portal, every time you come back here.
Yeah, but this will be single dip, full clearable Crystal Swamp against Lack, still two major items in two kind of bad spots behind in the chain to make this full clearable. In those mitts in Climb Supers that he unfortunately took that death trying to set up that Crystal Flash, and then that leading directly to Hookshot in a pretty tough to access Dark World Death Mountain. Things that could come up for Lack here that would be really, really good for him is potentially a book back to something showing up on Ether Tablet in front of Swamp.
And how would they get that, Maniacal? You need a Master Sword to get the Ether Tablet item. They can see what's there.
Yeah, I know.
Book and
I was going to say a book and a sword, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were going to say a book and a sword.
I was going to say that's also predicated on a sword being here in front up to 4 items, but you were on it, Cross.
Didn't mean to step on you there, buddy. Didn't mean to roll over you like a Katamari.
Katamaris just do what they do, man.
So not only does the hookshot allow Dork to full clear the dungeon, it also allows him to route better, since he can hookshot from one chest to the other on the left side. And it's also just a generally good movement item, as you can see him hooking on to every block. And Pegasus Boots, not locked behind the hookshot, mind you, so...
Yeah.
Lack will get some value here, despite not being able to full clear.
Lack is going to go on an Odyssey before he finds his Titan's mitts. This is very, very bad for Lack. He's going to go get his Varia suit, and he's going to do all sorts of things that are going... There's going to be some route divergence.
Dork's going to scout out the left side for us, so Lackattack can know whether or not he wants to go over there or peace out after the boots. Of course, they're not. They can't see each other, so... But... and Lack will not. Lack's going to take those boots and immediately go get the Varia suit. Dorkmaster, of course, wants to finish full clearing this crystal dungeon.
Yeah, this is going to probably work out for Lack, leaving with boots. We know he needs to save time to make up for that Boyan death.
Yeah, and since the Pegasus boots were in a non-hookshot locked spot, that does mean that hookshot could possibly have been in Norfair, which is what Lackattack was really banking on. Unfortunately for Lackattack, it didn't work out that way for him. I stole that from Ajder in chat, so give credit where it's due.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely one of the things that you go into Upper Norfair looking for. Unfortunately, Upper Norfair was just kind of a bust. The good thing for Lack is that Dorkmaster probably goes and does those same Super Metroid checks and clears Upper Norfair now with that Varia suit, but like, I think at best this is kind of zero sum, right? Because they're both just going to do all the crappy Norfair things, and Lack is still not going to have his mitts or his hook shot.
Except when you add in the fact that Lack had to spend extra time farming crystal flashing, so Dork's going to gain a little bit of time there. Dork does have to go into Bubble Mountain to grab Ice Rod, since that will be required to finish Turtle Rock, which is a crystal. We're still looking for Fire Rod, we're still looking for Bow, and I believe that is it?
Yeah, so now that Lack has his Varia suit, ammo's looking pretty good. We need a Master Sword still, if you want to be reminded about, not mentioning swords. We need the Fire Rod, we need the Bow.
Got me. And Lack's already pretty much cleared Norfair. He could actually take this speed tunnel straight to Croc if he wants to do that. Lower Norfair...
I like that here.
I do. Lower Norfair is going to be in logic because they have the flute. They could go in through the back door. However, from this vantage point, I think it would be faster for Lack to go in through the lava dive if they're comfortable with some sort of lava dive or gravity jump there.
Yeah, from here it's faster to just continue on through Gravitron, but generally you'll see a lot of runners choose to route Lower Norfair before Upper Norfair because you think of Lower Norfair as a crystal dungeon, Upper Norfair as a pendant area. Or Overworld, as we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's something good at Croc here, that's going to be good for Lack.
Yeah, I think another point is when you come out of Lower Norfair, it kind of just spits you out right into Bubble Mountain, which is right where you want to get the bulk of your checks in for Upper Norfair.
Yeah, so you can see people in that regard either split off Cathedral Missile's location or Crocomire. And so when those items produce some sort of progression, it works out pretty well for runners. Or poorly, depending on which side of it you're on. We see Dorkmaster is going for some menu strats here. Rarely seen.
Yeah, you have kind of two options here. You can either menu between hookshot and hammer, or you can do spins only against the puffs. Your spins generally will get in a double hit, so it's not too bad. But you do have to kind of take the time to charge up the spin attack, so I'm sure that it's not that much of a time difference as it seems.
No, it's not that different. It is slightly better to use the Fire Sword spins, but it's not by enough that, like, this is a horrible call. And if it's the fight that you're more comfortable with, definitely, like we were saying earlier, at some level it's about just doing the strats you're comfortable with and doing them well.
This kind of reminds me of the early days of Link to the Past Randomizer, before all of the strats were kind of set in stone as they are now. Like, switching between the hookshot and the hammer was the common practice back in V5.
Oh man, V5. That's been a minute. I don't think I started playing until V17 or something. I was pretty late to the Link to the Past Rando side.
The other thing about V5 is that the swords were vanilla, so you would typically only have a sword upgrade, like if you had grabbed the mitts and mirror, because I don't think there was actually a way to return the smiths without mirror back in those days either. So you would either have fighter sword from Uncle, or have the mitts and mirror and have the tempered sword.
Okay, so we didn't see the pantry item here from Lack, so I think we're gonna see it here on the way out. But he is gonna have to powerbomb this out again.
Or do a stutter 3-tap.
I was gonna say, or show off some short charge skills.
Oh, a little bonker.
Oh, not quite.
Speaking of bonks, we got some bonk rocks here from Dork. That's just a super missile pack.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's that Master Sword.
All right, so we're looking for a Fire Rod and a Bow at this point. Dorkmaster provided he remembers where his Varia suit is, has that, and so just needs to find the Ice Rod, Fire Rod, and Bow.
Yeah, and we know where Ice Rod is. That's in Bubble Mountain, in the Bro Fist room, I like to call it. And either of the other items could easily be in Lower Norfair or Ice Palace. Can you imagine Fire Rod being in T-Rock and just being able to go in there and full clear it right now?
That would be mighty tasty. Fire Rod in Turtle Rock at Chain Chomps is one of, I think, the best potential locations left for Lack. I think that that's something that could definitely put him almost in the driver's seat in this seed, even though he's a few items behind right now.
Yep. And it looks like Lack is going to go the sequence breaky way, so not going to be, a true sequence break because Lack would have logical access to Lower Norfair. Not that he knows it, actually, because he doesn't have mitts. So with Flute and Titan's mitts, you could actually... So he's going to want to turn off Gravity Suit if he wants to wall jump up the left, or he can just do a gravity jump. And this is not a fun IBJ.
Oh, yeah. You have to switch to DBJ in the middle of this to get past the Namahe up here.
Were you the one that did this in my spring ball puzzle?
No, but I watched Rumblemans do it.
Yeah, the intended way to get through was actually to do a gravity jump with spring ball. So, which is a little tighter because you can't wall jump at the top, but it can be done.
Yeah, the bomb jump here is very difficult. It looks like Lack maybe just isn't very comfortable with this strat. I think that was a good gravity jump.
Yeah, but it's not in the right spot. I mean, that would work if he had done a spin jump from there and finished it up with some wall jumps, but... Yeah, and meanwhile, Dorkmaster's going to get in the Lower Norfair the easy way with the Titan's mitts. Oh, could have gotten that with a ledge grab.
Down grab would have been good there.
Maybe he realizes he can just go to the next step over there and start a little bit higher up.
Yeah, a neutral down input would have gotten him onto that ledge there.
Also, jumping from a crouch gives you extra height.
Yeah, so how do you like to do your high jump boots lava dives cross? I know everyone kind of has slightly different, or high jump boot gravity.
Really? I thought that entries. I thought that I did it a pretty common way. There's the one Namahe, that's facing to the left on the bottom, like right there. I would get on the ledge right where lackattack is right now and do it from there. That's exactly how I would do it. And I would go, up to the ledge. If I know that I have a perfect gravity jump, then I know I can get up there without a wall jump, just like Lack did. But if you're a little late on your or a little early on your jump, and you don't get quite the height, then you can back it up with a wall jump at the top.
Yeah, I'm glad he got that one and made it through there. It feels bad to see someone stuck on that. That is a sequence break, not something that the logic intends.
So if Dorkmaster Flek goes to the left, I want you guys to look at this room and see why I call it the Brofist room. Huh? Maybe not. But anyway, the war is not over for lackattack. Lower Norfair is the most dangerous location in the game. He does not have Gravity Suit, so he has less damage mitigation than the designers intended for him to have here. He does have Screw Attack, which is very nice. He has a limited amount of ammo as well. Well, fortunately, that was one of the big hurdles, was getting past that green gate.
Yeah, getting that green gate glitch there is very important. He'll be able to get Crystal Flash ammo.
That's true.
And he'll be able to turn his gravity suit back on and reduce the damage.
I think that was even better than the speed booster tunnel E-tank that he got.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, he does have gravity suit. That's right. He just turned it off.
Looks like Meyer is Bombos.
Okay, so yeah, unfortunately that ether that Dorkmaster went out of his way to grab won't be required, but
Yeah, Smith's chain not gonna pay off, but that hook shot find still is a big deal.
yeah, that's well, I don't want to say the difference, but the biggest difference in this run so far. Dork was able to go ahead and clear out Swamp Palace.
Yeah, even if Lack had gotten the mitts at the at Climb Supers,
Yeah, how likely is he to go and get those
play
two
over?
items?
Yeah, to hook shot that's a tough play. Now it's a little easier now that Boots weren't behind the hook shot, but still, it's a long walk.
So hopefully Lack remembers to check Desert Palace now. I don't think there was anything there, and it's a pendant, but it's going to be something gnawing at the back of his head if he doesn't check it now. Okay, and with the Pegasus Boots is actually going to clear out Misery Mire here. The Pegasus Boots or the hook shot would be required to clear this dungeon, and
yeah.
When Dork was here earlier, did not have either. Dork now has both. Lack has the boots.
Yeah, this is a big play here for Lack, or a big sequence. I'm not sure what could push him to that Mitts location. I think finding nothing could push him to the Mitts location. But then he's just full clearing a bunch of stuff.
Well, something that Chat had pointed out is he could route it back in after finishing Mother Brain. You know, if he full clears Super Metroid and just, you know, decides to go do Mother Brain before checking more Link to the Past stuff, since it has to be done. It's not any items, but it has to be done and gives you some time to relax and think. Then that would be as close to the Climb Supers as he's going to get, unless he goes out of his way for him.
Yeah, the problem is Mother Brain's going to take all of your power bombs away. So I guess he died, so that power bomb door is not open. So he won't have power bombs when he's coming out, so he'd have to go to the ship and then come back down anyway.
Well, it might jog his memory at least. I don't know.
Yeah, it's slower than just save and quit reset.
Or he could go into Torian with 55 power bombs, or he would need 80.
I think
he removes 75. He would need 80, and there's only 50 in the game, so oops. Oh man, it's got the morph bombs at least. Yeah, at least it might remind him that he needs to check the item.
I think if we get to that point, that things are probably too far gone. So I'm hoping that he finds a way back there sooner. I think getting stonewalled is probably his best bet. Hopefully he finds something good in Lower Norfair, but hopefully that something is, you know, not or that he's tracking that thing is, you know, behind those mitts, logically. I imagine he's aware of that logic. And we see Dork is doing the croc play, so this is going to be, you know, sort of time neutral in the sense that it's not going to cost him anything against lackattack, but it's not going to gain him anything either. There's really nothing down here.
I forgot how annoying this room was without Fire Rod.
Oh, it's real bad. And cutscene big key. I didn't see if it was a small key, but yeah, vanilla big key here in Mire.
There was at least there was a shield in the compass chest. So
okay, so it was a shield. So yeah, there was no guarantee. So that's nice for Lack. If he hits the second item quickly, then that probably saves him time in Mire. Although he's going to have a fighter sword against at least Master Sword when Dorkmaster gets over here.
Well, maybe the second item will be bow.
That would be super swell.
Yeah, and Lack should know that he's sequence breaking here, and what he's doing will be locked either behind the Titan's mitts or perhaps even the space jump, as far as he knows.
Yeah, the space jump is an unfortunate thing. I think you almost have to discount that or go confirm that the things you skipped were the space jump once you start to really dry up on checks here.
Yeah, second item was just bomb
Okay.
capacity.
Yep, so we're good to go. Finish Mire. Nothing in Mire, but this will be a crystal that's done. This is absolutely a non-trivial back of Mire, though. Fighter Sword, Hammer, Bombs is basically the loadout we've got for Vitreous here. It's not great. He does have he has 2 blue potions, which actually is a very big deal.
If Lack knows the strat where you can ride the right-hand wall and dodge the puddle, then Hammer's actually pretty good there, because you always want to swing Hammer to the left or right if you can, because you have a better hitbox that way. And so backing up against the right-hand wall, hammering to the left to hit the eyeballs would actually be a pretty good strat here.
Yeah, that's probably the best. I see chat suggesting Blue Cane, but you can't spin slash with Blue Cane, so you can't do anything with the Fighter Sword.
I believe that it would
Blue
be
Cane, unfortunately, is not
swings.
worth anything.
4 hammer swings for each eyeball? Because normally it would be 2.
Yeah.
That was right.
Yep, that's correct.
It would be 2 spins with tempered, so I think it would be 4 swings of the hammer. Going in with that full health.
Yeah.
I don't think Dork has done pod at all yet. So that's a little bit of a couple of checks that he still has to do over lackattack, but yeah, might be more familiar with the sequence breaking options with his bottle. Lack does not have a fairy.
Yeah. This is a scary fight.
So do the eyeballs get faster the fewer of them there are? Or he shoots lightning faster, I think.
Yeah, the lightning cycles get faster the fewer of them there are. He's not going to be able to do anything with this cane. His best bet is maybe going to those bomb strats with those 9 bombs to try and get some like AoE damage on these eyeballs to try and reduce the number of hammer hits.
And we're coming back on the fact that Dork has the Titan's mitts and got the faster route in the lower North Air here. And I don't think that lackattack has shown this item for us yet. And speaking of things locked by space jump, there's that missile pack.
Yeah, Lack lucky to have that last blue potion. I'm hoping he can clean this fight out here.
Only 3 eyeballs left. If he steers clear of the lightning, he should be in good shape. Another option could be just to step onto the puddle, because it will only do 1 heart of damage, and you can use your invincibility frames to get closer. It's similar to the NMG strat, only you're using hammer instead of sword spins.
That was a nice lightning there, and with some fighter sword spins or hammer, he'll be able to close this out. And nice end to the fight. Good job by Lack being able to leverage that double blue potion.
Yeah, and really adjusted to the fight too. Kind of figured out what he was doing as you went, and just by the end of the fight, he looked like he had been practicing that for months.
And we are going to see the lower North Air play here.
I mean, he kind of picked it up pretty fast as he went.
Yeah, so Dorkmaster is not choosing to do Mire here. It's easy to go back to Mire at any point, but that's an interesting call.
Yeah, the more interesting, he might do a spring ball jump here or IBJ. Honestly, while he was in the, well, he might not want to use all the super missiles, but I don't believe this jump is possible. At least it's not in logic, and it's not easy.
Those are both correct. Yeah, okay, IBJ is the way.
That, or if you know your spring ball jumps, that's another option through the stream. Again, not in logic, in normal mode, but. And Flek found a second sword in the bonk rocks just to the left of Sanctuary. Which so far has been the only second sword that we found. Obviously.
Yeah, there's 2 more out there. It'll be interesting to see if and when those show up, because A, 1 more is required for lack, but B, that upgrade to tempered is each of your first 3 swords that you find is just such a massive improvement over the previous situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see maybe how lack is going to do lower Norfair. As Dorkmaster is choosing to go ahead and farm up supers here, because no charge beam. He's going to want plenty of supers for later in lower Norfair, but I guess he's decided 45 is good enough to move on in. And lack
especially with screw attack.
Okay, so scouting these items, and maybe taking a death warp here.
I think just trying to set up the fight. Still hasn't turned gravity suit back on.
Yeah, he's gonna want his gravity suit back on. GT has the best offensive capability of any of the enemies outside of Mother Brain 3, so really hits quite hard. Yep.
Didn't know that. So lack. Okay, lack does understand the mechanics of this fight. You want to have, I think it's below 32 missiles to force Gold Teresa to do these little Chozo ball patterns, which you can farm for more super missiles. And there's that tempered sword.
Yeah, so these crescents that GT throws, he has a chance of launching into this attack if you have 32 or more missiles. And so usually you'll see runners drain their missiles. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a bad spot to be in. He's gonna need a screw attack.
This is gonna put his save point back on the ship. So every time you go through a cross-world portal between like
this could be good.
This puts him closer to the Titan's mitts.
Yeah, there's a chance of Titan's mitts here. I'm like bless RNG for Titan's mitts right now.
At least gonna fill up on those super missiles, but yeah, anytime you go through one of the cross-world entrances, the game automatically saves and puts your save point here on the ship. So if he did want to go straight back into lower Norfair, he'd have to do all that nonsense in the lava dive again, which is probably not what he wants to do. So I think Lack wants to change up the strategies here, and hopefully this means Titan's mitts.
No, I was hoping to see just keep going down. That was as close as he's gonna get to it. Oh, he's going back. He's thinking about it. Good. He felt our pleas. Remembered that he took that Boyan death, and he's gonna feel super bad about this. There's no other way to cut this one. This was a bad situation, but it's gonna get better here in just a minute.
So the death actually didn't cost lackattack any items, since the only items since he entered from the Mire portal back in the lower Norfair, the game automatically saves his progress. So he actually keeps the knowledge of the trash on Gold Terizo, so he never has to go back there, and he has all of the items that he picked up since the game auto-saved. So not really too much of a setback, honestly. I hate to say it, but the death is possibly the best thing that happened. Like,
yeah, the death is going to work out better than not having died there, which is kind of hilarious. Just because you don't see that happen all the time.
This is another option. Just destroy those guys so that they can't get in your way.
I do that all the time if I don't have Ice Beam.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I should have done that in my last race because I died there and lost. I lost like 2 mail upgrades. I went from Red Tower, reverse cleared Brinstar, came up to climb, was about to head back to the ship, and died there. So it really would have behooved me. It's just power bomb those guys, or super missiles. Super missiles work too.
Yep, it is 3 power bombs or 4 supers. Or some combination to get lethal damage on each of the Boyons there.
Yeah, so Dorkmaster Flek, no charge beam, but Ridley only requires 30 super missiles. Looks like the fight's over. Bird's trying to pick him up. Very nice. So came in with about 40 super missiles, plenty of comfort, even a bunch of regular missiles for backup. So
yeah,
this is the last Super Metroid crystal, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Lack is going right to these West Dark World locations that we saw Dorkmaster route right to with Mitz as well. So that actually surprises me, although maybe this is Lack saying, okay...
Well, this goes back to... Who wants to go to East Death Mountain without hookshot, though? Like, it's just back to that.
Yeah. I mean, you have Meyer to logical lower Norfair now. And so that I'm thinking is like, that's the crystal play, right?
Lower Norfair, yeah. And Meyer. Although he's done Meyer, but yeah.
Yeah, Meyer's out of the way, but there's still guaranteed progress in going to lower Norfair. And so it surprises me to see the West Dark World play, but it could be sort of a, I'm behind, I need to, make sure I've got this in order. I'm a little surprised it wasn't right back to lower Norfair, though. But those mids had to be, like, a bit of a panic state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to get a read on what someone's going to do when something bad like that comes up in one of these. Everyone's got a little bit of a different philosophy.
And not even necessarily that it was bad, but I mean, anytime you pick up a huge progression item like Titan's Mitz, so much opens up at one time that it's really hard to know what to do.
All right, so we now know all 4 of our swords. 2 of them are in lower Norfair.
Better than them being in Ganon's tower.
Absolutely, and we know that those swords in going to lower Norfair would help probably save a little bit of time.
Oh, we missed an item check there, Dork. Unless he's just going to go straight through. Yeah, I skipped Peebs in jail. But he's just going to go ahead and pick it up without scouting ahead, which was fine. If it turns out to be an item that he wants, he actually saves time this way, but usually it's not.
But so we're go mode -1 right now on Dorkmaster Flek's side. This is kind of a bad time to feel like go mode -1. You're looking at like 230. Still go mode -2 almost, and so you feel a little rough about it, but with hookshot where it was, you can't feel too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was saying a while ago, I think that the best thing for lackattack...
Whatever!
Okay, well, never mind. That's go mode.
Well, that's go mode under 2.5 hours. Dork has finished all 4 Super Metroid bosses and just has to go do a quick dip in the Pod Eastern, go mode Meyer and Turtle Rock. So well played from Dork. He's on his way to finishing this seed, whereas Lack's next step is either going the lower Norfair, but hopefully getting the hookshot in Super Bunny Cave instead. But there will be stuff in lower Norfair for him if that's the way that he goes.
Yeah, there's four good items down there. We've got the bow, we got the fire rod, which of course was go mode -2 for Dorkmaster, so it worked out great. Also 2 sword upgrades. We know that the bad location in this seed is Dark Death Mountain with that hookshot that's only accessible by doing the slow mirror and hammer access route. And that's so not where you want to be. I think if we see lower Norfair here, we could see Lack make that play because he will have the option to do Turtle Rock while he's over there no matter what. And so that would be the way to get him there. But
yeah, he did grab the
does need to
ether
go
off
lower
of the
Norfair.
hammer pigs, I believe, so... yes, he did.
Yeah, everything that Lack does that is not go to lower Norfair is just worse and worse for him right now.
Is this a Dork's? Yeah, he's got the monkey. This is Dork's first time in the pod, so a lot of runners will make a call to go in the pod early, especially if they have the hammer and mirror, and it is often a good play, but in this case, there wasn't anything of value, and Dorkmaster avoided it, so...
Yeah, now I do like this play from Lack getting the Pyramid Fairy out of the way. Just because now he knows that Mire Crystal is in logic. With those mitts, this is one of those locations that, you know, is kind of a bit of a trap. It's not going to work out this time. I guess we could still find, like, Charge Beam or Silvers, but...
Shoutouts to our tracker, Ye Old Fart Gamer, going for the single arrow there. Close. We got the single rupee and a bug met.
Our second single rupee. Not too far apart from one another, but just in Light versus Dark World. The first one being in the back of Sahasrara's closet.
Yep, and Dork's big key, I believe, is in the Terrapin room, the Terrapin station. But they're gonna have to pretty much check every chest in search of that big key, so... And once again, shout outs to our sponsor, Rank 1 Gaming. You can see them at rank1.global. They provided the cash prizes for this tournament, and you can go ahead and sign up and fill out a profile. It's a social media site for gamers where you can find people that enjoy the games that you like and see what else they're into. That's rank1.global, and if you want to check out our runners' profiles, they are there on the streams below their names, and I'm also going to go ahead and drop a link in chat. You can also go ahead and follow the runners on Twitch. These guys stream pretty often. They do a lot of Link to the Past and Super Metroid, as well as other speedruns and, you know, whatever else. And great streamers, and they're putting on a good show for us tonight, so go show them some love and give them a follow.
Yeah, this has been a very, very entertaining race. I mean, not that I had any doubts about it. Both these guys, good runners, and you know, this race has been very, very interesting. Lack's still resisting putting his gravity suit back on. It's my suspicion that he's just forgotten about it at this point.
You know, it's funny. I wonder if Lack actually knows the Varia lava dive, where you just wall jump off of the left.
It looked like he was setting up for it.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to do that with the gravity on. But the reason I think it's kind of funny is that at some point he's got to stop and think, wait, how did I get down here? Unless he is actually familiar with the gravity-less lava dive. And that's a great pickup for Dorkmaster Flek, having not only grabbing the big key there, but also having a small key to take the direct route back over to the basement where I'll fight Helmasaur King.
Yeah, so if you're Dorkmaster, you've got Pod, Mirror due Eastern, then you've got Mire into Turtle Rock, and like then Torian, and that's it. So there's a direct route that is not that inefficient for him toward the end of the seed. For Lack, it's a lot more circuitous. He needs to go without the hookshot to go get the hookshot to Dark Death Mountain. And that will be go mode for him. Luckily, he'll be able to guarantee that he'd be able to full clear Turtle Rock. He has all his medallions, was already over there earlier, but can route that in as a completable crystal that's dense. He won't be going back to Swamp. He might do Pod Eastern first, though, because of this bow he's going to get, but that's kind of a wash. And so he has a direct route in terms of like what he's likely to do, but it's less efficient overall than what's available to Dorkmaster, in addition to Dorkmaster having a pretty significant lead right now in terms of progression.
The nice thing, if Lek does go into Pod Eastern immediate from Lower Norfair, then it's actually not going to cost him any time whatsoever, since he's already gone into those dungeons and cleared up to the point where he needs the bow. Now, he might check the bow side on the right and take a slightly longer route through the dungeon than he could, but he's going to pick up 2 more chests there, and he's going to be right where he wants to be to head on to the boss. So yeah, not really going to lose virtually any time if he does Pod Eastern before Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we get my least favorite fight right here for the gold sword. This and, I mean, Trinex, it's a little excusable because it actually saves time and cycles on Trinex, but for Helmasaur King, gold sword, because you're just hammering away at the mask for so long, is like just a bunch of extra lag that you get in the fight. I absolutely hate having gold sword for Helmasaur King.
Yeah, I was actually realizing this. It's like the red boomerang, right? The red boomerang has a little glitter effect when you throw it, and it actually counts as having an extra object on the screen. That's why you can use the red boomerang to cancel out some of the animations and do some pretty nifty glitches with it, because it actually counts as 2 sprites. I think the gold sword's the same way.
That's interesting. I maybe I'll have to screw around with like sprite overload later with the gold sword and see if that screws with the counts or something.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it to
I've not
splash
heard of
cancel.
that.
Like, you can use the red boomerang to splash cancel because it's on the screen for so long, but obviously once you jump in the water, you won't have the gold sword sprayed on screen, so you wouldn't be able to use that. I wonder if the beam actually counts as another one. So, like, could the gold sword itself actually be 3 sprites? Oh, wait.
There's our gravity suit.
Hey,
welcome back.
Just in time
Nice
for the
purple.
boss fight.
Yeah, and the sword beam has to count as a sprite. I don't know if jumping with your sword held out makes a difference, or if it eliminates it when it tries to generate the splash. I don't actually know how A Link to the Past works, so...
Yeah, and Alster in chat here actually has run the new low percent since the sprite overload glitches have been found, and low percent went down to actually being 3 heart containers. I know that he's run that category before, so probably knows different options for despawning heart containers.
That category is nuts now. It's really, really quite crazy. So, yeah, vanilla... Or not vanilla. Right before Big Chest, Big Key here in Eastern is a nice one for Dorkmaster. He is going to check this chest though, probably just looking for Charge Beam or Silvers at this point. Not a lot left that he'd really want.
Oh, apparently Ashra actually has the world record in that category as well. I knew that he had gotten it at some point, but that was a year or 2 ago. So I didn't want to say it and not be sure of it. So has Miss Lotting been out for a year or 2 already? I think
time
it's been
balloons
almost
for me, especially.
I think it was around.
Especially now that we're all just inside, I have the concept of time.
I thought that it was around AGDQ 2019, but maybe it was SpeedGaming 2019. That would add. It might have been around the time of SpeedGaming 2019. SpeedGaming Live. Speaking of, we have a live event at SpeedGaming. SpeedGaming Live. Check that out. There's a link for you.
Yeah, and you know what? I think at least 2 of the 3 biggest prize pool tournaments in that are right now are Super Metroid and A Link to the Past based tournaments. So we're looking at having, if not the combo rando, at least each of the individual games featured very prominently in that event. So I'm quite excited about it.
All right, Eastern Palace down for Dorkmaster Flek. Just has Meyer and Turtle Rock. Meyer did have a cheeky vanilla big key, so might take him a little bit of time there, but not enough to allow lackattack to catch up, barring some unforeseen circumstances. Unfortunately, just took took a pretty costly death, and not so much a cost on the time and items that lackattack lost, but really just kind of the mental deterrence to go back to the area where he died. And I'm not going to say that was wrong. I think that a little out of the way speed booster check like that. You said it earlier, 2 hours ago, I think. The speed booster checks in Super Metroid are just awful. Like, who would want to go check those? And,
Oh yeah.
And who would want to do it twice? So I cannot fault lackattack for his routing decision not to go back there. It was just an unfortunate turn of events that kind of just increased the deficit of the race there.
Yeah, we know we need to see lackattack go basically right for Death Mountain. He would save time in Swamp over not having to full clear. I'm very doubtful that it's enough, but if we want this race to be as close as it can be, which I do, I like watching close races, whichever way they go. We want to see lackattack go straight for Turtle Rock or Dark Death Mountain and Turtle Rock.
And Turtle Rock's not a bad play. It's a full clearable crystal dungeon, and if he hits that Super Bunny cave on the way, I believe that's going to be go mode for him.
Yeah. Eastern and Pod are sort of interchangeable, especially with Flute and Mirror. So he could do those at any time, whether he does it before or after Dark Death Mountain. It's going to be time neutral for him. So either Eastern Pod or going ahead and then doing Turtle Rock right away. Either of those is good. But he's looking at this as go mode minus hookshot.
On the other hand, he is up here. Boy, he dodged the duck.
Yeah, he was thinking about it, and it looks like he's going right where he needs to go. So this is good. Race hype here. He was thinking about that Pod EP Flute, and this is going to be, as good as it could be for Lack.
Let's just hope that he checks the Super Bunny cave before going into T-Rack.
Yeah, here's a big juncture for Dorkmaster is, does he go down to the vanilla big key chest? I don't know how he likes to route Meyer. I find that I often just go do cutscene anyway. A lot of people will turn and leave here. And looks like Dorkmaster is going straight for the cutscene, so that's going to be good for him.
Okay, and Lack grabbed a fairy, so keep that in mind. It'll come back later. It's like a Chekhov's fairy.
And Dorkmaster has a little bit of an easier time in this room because of that fire rod. I know we were talking earlier about how bad it was with Lamp, but if you remember back to that, big difference in time just for setting these lamps up, or the torches up. And we'll see if we get the overworld checks, and we're not going to, but full clear Turtle Rock, not that different from Go Mode Turtle Rock, but I think it might be too much.
It's going to be significant because of Mimic Cave, if nothing else. And also Laser Bridge. Laser Bridge, well, the Laser Bridge won't be too bad, but Mimic Cave I think is going to be the big difference here. And depending on where the big key and small keys are in the front, could be even more than that.
Yeah. There's a fair chance of silvers and or charge beam in here,
can't grab the fairy while he's on the stairs. That's some troll right there.
Yeah, that fairy knew where the safety was. It was like, I'm just going to camp it right here on these stairs. Heck, getting grabbed. You wasted your powder, bud.
I thought Simon Belmont was pathetic on stairs. Link's even worse.
Them's bold words.
Okay, NES Simon Belmont. CV4 Simon Belmont, not so much. Lackattack having to go the non-hookshot route through this room.
Yeah.
This is a slight time loss of not having hookshot for Turtle Rock, but definitely not as significant as other possibilities while he's full clearing it. Although I will say this about Simon Belmont and stairs, he good at not getting knocked off of them.
That's true. He sticks to stairs real good, but I guess so does Link. He's not like Ness. Ness is real good at getting knocked off of stairs. This whole category is built around it.
The entire world. He gets knocked out of bounds.
I'm just saying he's not good at stairs, man.
Man, I haven't watched an Earthbound speedrun in a while, but those are great.
Absolutely, I enjoy quite a bit of them.
And Dork has 3 swords on Lack for this eyeball fight, Vitreous fight.
Yeah, and the heart situation for Lack is yeah, it was exactly that. It was bad.
Hey,
but he
check
has
out
the fairy.
And Lack even has powder in case he wants to stock up on more fairies.
I would be surprised if we don't see him stock up on at least one over here in the 4 anti-fairy room.
Yeah, you can hit all 4 anti-fairies with 1 swig of the powder. Or
is it a swig? Is that what powder quanta are? Are they swigs? I think they're sprinkles, but
it's a bag of snow. They're sprinkles? Okay. I'm from Philly, so we call those jimmies. That's not true. Jimmies and sprinkles are different. Jimmies.
I thought you would just call them John.
You know, jimmies are like the hard plastic ones, and sprinkles are like the ones that are like more dusty. And vanilla big key. Well, that actually is the best spot for the big key for lackattack.
Yeah, that plays very well for lackattack because stealing the key. So we're going to see only Mimic Cave as the difference depending on where that last key shows up. It may or may not be Laser Bridge. But we do see, I mean, just looking at it, Pod, Eastern, and Swamp is the difference right now. So Dorkmaster has a substantial lead. 3 full crystal dungeons, basically, although we know that Lack has been partially in all 3 of those dungeons as kind of an indicator of how this seed has gone.
Yeah, already has the big key in Eastern and Pod, so...
Yeah, still has to do the Bowlock side to get the small key, because he's out of small keys.
We might even see a laser bridge check from Dorkmaster if he fancies himself some silver arrows. So Lack won't necessarily lose time on laser bridge here. Depends how Dork wants to go. And Lack will get to laser bridge before Dork, so we're gonna know whether or not silvers are there before Dork has the option to check them or not.
Yeah, and that could be big. So watching where these keys show up, if there's a small key here, that's going to be a big difference. Okay, so the small key's on laser bridge. Nice roller switch strat there. Using the iframes from the blue pegs to walk through the roller. Don't see that all the time.
I think Solsky does that. Whoever that guy is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't watch him. I just sub and leave.
I heard you guys did pretty well in the teammate tournament, in the 2v2 SMZ3 tournament.
Yeah, took some losses. Think we lost twice to Zost and Keku or something. I mean, I hope we have another.
Oh,
2v2
I lost
tournament.
to them too.
It turns out they were pretty good.
Who'd have thunk it? Well, plasma beam. That's a good item.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not the time save that we need. Actually, not a time save at all if they don't find charge beam. But yeah, I think the best thing Lack could have found there would be silver arrows.
Honestly, I think it's a lot better if he doesn't find silvers.
How do you figure?
At least in areas where Dorkmaster will be checking, because I think the longer the execution of the game from here, the more time potentially Lack can make up.
You're assuming that Dork will check Laser Bridge, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's a little too close to make that check, because he's gonna have to go there for a key, because the compass was in the roller switch chest, so there's no way to avoid at least going to Laser Bridge.
Right, and
so it depends on how he sequences chests.
Did grab the mirror shield while looking for the Meyer big key, so won't give it a second thought if he wants to get those extra checks on Laser Bridge. And here we go.
We're about to see Hookshot. Yeah. So about 23 minutes behind. Lack's gonna do the bonk chest first. No, he's just gonna fake us out.
It's like, should I check Hookshot Cave? Wait, I seem to be missing a vital component of checking Hookshot Cave.
Well, it's one chest against 3. But there's the Hookshot, and he isn't going to grab the other item. What was the other? It was the shovel, right?
It wasn't silvers. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So Lack is in go mode. He knows how bad that is. He's got a good situation for these dungeons, but we see that Dorkmaster has a better situation for those dungeons in that he's already collected the crystals.
The biggest problem Lack has is that he has to go back into Mire, and that's or Swamp Palace rather, and that's a time-consuming dungeon. I would say it would be pretty close if Lack only had to do Eastern and Pod at this point, because those aren't too far off of a warp point. They're right next to each other. But I mean, obviously Dork would still have an advantage here, but there could be foreseeable situations where Lack still has a chance outside of having to do the Swamp Palace here.
So Dork is still checking Laser Bridge. Indicates to me that he wants something more, whether it's silvers or something else. I don't think he found what he was looking for there. But he did get some decent items, grapple, plasma. Nothing that's going to be that useful other than that small key.
Yeah, on the plus side, nobody had to go into Ice Palace today.
That is true. I was going to say one of the V11 changes that could show up here is that Charge Beam can now be in Ganon's Tower, where it couldn't previously because it was locked as progression for Ridley. And so it'll be interesting to see if Charge Beam shows up there, if maybe Dorkmaster even chooses to dig out extra item locations in Ganon's Tower looking for silvers and/or charge. But he is about to collect his 7th crystal, so we're going to find out soon how he chooses to route Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, if you want to guess where the Ganon's Tower big key is, pick a number from 1 to 22, and be proud of yourself if you're right, because that's all that's at stake.
Oh, here I was going to say, if you want to guess where the Ganon's Tower big key is, you can leave now. But you also have the option to play the game.
I think if you guess 22... If you guess tile room, then you can leave now.
All right, we got lots of numbers blowing up the chat. We'll see where it actually ends up being. I've been seeing a lot of very early big keys lately, like Hope Room big keys, in I think 3 or 4 of my last 5 seeds.
I want to say I did too, but I think those were multi-worlds.
Yeah, at some level it's all the same. We do see the small key, we do see that he's going to be able to continue going right. It's not going to be an issue because he does have that cane, does have the hook shot, has the boots, has everything he could reasonably want.
Ooh, I like how the shield went to the side and blocked the fireball.
We got 4 more checks coming up here. A lot of money. Boss Jelly saying, Gold Sword, I don't care. Go in the pit, boy. Just some power bombs there on the torch.
I don't like going right side first just because I hate it. Just hate that room with the torches. So, I don't know.
It's a pretty bad room, but I like the play. It's all the different routes you can run are pretty close in time. There's no real, great or terrible route. There's just a bunch of rooms or routes that are all kind of comparable, but he does find the big key in the Stalfos room.
Yep, and Lack still went right side despite having the hook shot already. Possibly looking for the silvers, although he did already skip the chest next to where he got the hook shot. Dork having a little bit of trouble from the red mimics, but the mirror shield helps him out.
So, Lack had to go right side because he didn't have a small key. If I'm catching what you were talking about. Because there was a small key and something on the right side, because he needs a small key to go to the basement here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed it.
Otherwise, he would get to the door, and it wouldn't even give him a message. It would just be sad. Something is missing. Is it the small key?
Yeah, where's Navi to tell you how to open locked doors?
Got pretty good execution here in Pod Turtles. RNG helped, but execution was good. And Dorkmaster also executing pretty good, making it through the gauntlet. Stalfos room being kind of trolly as always.
Alright, Lack's gonna go for the non-sword strat and avoid some lag.
Yeah, and this is where having gold sword's good because it's just 2 slashes, but all the extra lag that you generate on the first part of the fight by holding it, it's so bad.
So Dork equipped the fire rod, but then it's going for swords anyway. Fire rod is actually equivalent to a swing of the gold sword here against Landmos. Either one will require 2 hits. Yeah, if you're just tuning in here, the story of this race kind of was Lack took an unfortunate death right before picking up the Titan's mitts, and is still catching up on his last crystal here, while Dorkmaster Flek is just clearing up Ganon's tower. And already upstairs, already about to fight Aga 2.
So, interesting comment is that when you push the wrong key to push to talk, you can talk, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's
Oh.
well, taps into a blue
He has a
pop
potion.
there. Yeah.
But yeah,
Could also
I was
drop down into the pit.
I was taking a second to look there and just verify what the seeding was in Group W, because I couldn't remember which of these was the 2 seed and which was the 3 seed. And so Lack was the 3 seed in this group, Dorkmaster was the 2 seed. I think I may have said it backwards earlier. They played each other in the first round, and it was 2 versus 3. And so I just straight up couldn't remember. But obviously a very fair matchup. Lack winning the first one, and Dorkmaster, well in the driver's seat for this one. Hasn't yet won it, but it looks to be his to lose.
Yeah, both runners do still have to defeat Mother Brain, but they have no shortage of ammo for that.
Yeah, no charge beam, and based on that map there, it doesn't look like we're going to find it, so looks like an ammo Mother Brain, and you know, provided that the Torian is comfy enough, that's going to, you know, be all there was. It looks like Lack might do Torian first to get that clean routing into GT, although did he finish Eastern?
Double?
I can't imagine he skipped on Eastern, right?
He did Eastern.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought I just saw him getting the Eastern Crystal.
Yeah, I remember seeing him enter Eastern before
so it
I
looks like
kind of switched focus on this gauntlet run.
Yeah, so Torian, a little bit faster to do first, honestly. And so, if Lack doesn't think he's going to run into Charge Beam in Ganon's tower, or just doesn't care because he has a bunch of ammo,
Yeah.
then this is slightly faster.
Yeah, a couple of details that make Super Metroid First slightly faster. One is that there's no timer for the escape, so you avoid some lag by not having the timer on screen. And also, you go back into Super Metroid through the door in Parlor, right? So you can avoid just that little bit of distance between that door and the ship. Because if you do Super Metroid last, you have to go all the way to the ship, right? So
yeah, the cutscene to start the timer is a little faster because it isn't starting the timer, and then
oh yeah, it doesn't.
You're
have
able
the
to
little
leave
text
through
message,
Parlor.
Right?
Yeah.
I think there was a 4th reason. I remember Wild Anaconda telling me there were 4 reasons Super Metroid First is faster. Maybe the other one was just you don't get distracted by trying to save the animals. I don't know.
Yeah,
Wild would never say that.
I definitely don't know. The biggest one is definitely being able to leave through Parlor and transition back through the portal that we saw the runners take a little over 3 hours ago now.
Yeah. So
and Dorkmaster does not have the silver arrows. He's realizing, and so he's gonna have to go for silverless strats here. If he has trouble with this fight, if he's not comfortable with this fight, that will be a big deal. I imagine he's comfortable with it, but he was setting up looking like he had silvers, so I don't know.
at least he got the torch glitch, though.
Yeah, that's big.
So this is going to be 12 spin attacks. And they're a little tricky to land. There's only one frame where Ganon is vulnerable, but since you're doing a spin attack, your like strike box is on screen long enough that you have a pretty big window to land a hit on that one frame.
Yeah, and okay, he's getting 1 or 2 per cycle here. There was a nice double. I was gonna say if he misses a few more doubles, he does need 12 spins. Magic might get to be a concern, but I think he's got 7 now.
Okay, he might want to switch to lamp if he misses a couple more hits, but he might actually have a third blue pot here as well. I'm not sure. I think he had at least 3 bottles going into when he went to fill up those potions.
Yeah, I don't know. Rupees were pretty tight because we saw all those rupees were in Ganon's tower. So he's not menuing to a bottle, but he should be okay.
How did he not have enough? Okay. I'm not actually sure how he didn't have enough magic for that torch, because he fully refilled, so he should have an even 8 fire rod shots, but it sounded like I heard a low magic noise there.
Yeah, that's weird, but he does make it through, and so that's important.
Maybe I was just hearing things. Yep, so...
And so it's just a Torian here. And Lack setting up for his Zeb skip. Unfortunately, this Rinka just not spawning and being a little out of position. I don't think this is going to work because it moved after it spawned.
Yeah, fortunately in SMZ3, you can generally have enough ammo to default back to just shooting him out.
Yeah, and that's what Lack seems to be doing here. Just Zeb skip.
It's going to need 36 missiles for the first phase, and then 21 missiles with his 53 supers, so still has plenty of extra.
Yeah.
Still no reason not to be conservative. Doesn't. Oh, got sniped by the mustard beam. All right, so yeah, so he's got 36 extra missiles there.
Yeah, this is 36 missiles of leeway. He should be more than safe, but can't shoot all of them into Mother Brain's knee or something.
He can shoot 36 of them into Mother Brain's knee.
Yeah, and Dorkmaster is into Torian here, so as long as Torian goes well, this is, he should be finishing up here probably in about 8 or so minutes, and Lack still has the rest of this fight, probably another 12-ish minutes, if I'm ballparking it right.
Yeah, he's got to make it back up to Death Mountain, so even the climb itself is going to cost some time, depending on how he routes Ganon's tower, of course. If he goes left first, then it'll be a little bit faster. But yeah, speaking of having a comfy amount of ammo, look at this 80 super count for Dork. So.
Yeah, that is a lot of supers. I think you said that was the maximum number of supers.
Oh yeah,
so I guess we found all the super packs.
I believe I said earlier, I've never seen anyone get all 80 super missiles.
I've had 80 before, so I was having trouble believing that it was actually 80 as the max. But I've also double full cleared, so maybe.
So there were no super missiles in Ice Palace.
And Dorkmaster not setting up for his baby skip here, so just going to drain his health down. I think he still has Varia on. Removing Varia would help him drain his health out a little faster, but will be safer for the Mother Brain fight since he doesn't have charge, isn't probably going to want to try and do anything with stand up.
The baby's going to fly right from Dork Stream onto lackattacks and get hit by the...
Oh!
He did a screen wrap. Did you guys see that?
That's not allowed. Wrapping from player 1 screen to player 2 screen.
Baby Metroid disqualified. Are you allowed to screen wrap in Z1 Rando? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you are. I mean, it's such an integral strat for the speed run.
So yeah, if you're just tuning in, and seeing lackattack finishing off Mother Brain here, he actually still has to Ganon's tower. So Dorkmaster has quite a sizable lead coming up on the finish line here.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this. So if everything goes cleanly, this is like a 313, 314 for Dorkmaster probably. And nice Zeb skip there, makes it through. Yeah, so for anyone who's curious kind of what the story of this one was, Dorkmaster's philosophy, it seemed to be in this, was to route the crappy one-offs very aggressively. And so he got his Titan's mitts out of Climb Supers fairly early, and then was able to get over to Hookshot on Dark Death Mountain also fairly early. Whereas Lack took a death in the Climb Supers room to getting stuck in the acid beneath the Boyan. I think he was trying to set up a Crystal Flash and just wasn't able to quite get it done to have enough health to make the spark. And that turned into him not getting the mitts for a long time.
Lack did manage to save the animals by not blowing up the planet, though. We'll see if we can say the same for Dork. And while we're finishing up this Mother Brain cutscene, just one more time, I'm going to shout out our sponsor, Rank1.global, Rank1 Gaming. It's a social media site for gamers where you can share what games you've been playing, what your favorite games are, find people of similar interests. We even have individual communities. Like there's a community specifically for Super Metroid Z3 if you want to know more about this particular randomizer. Although, is the community for the randomizer in general or for the tournament?
I mean, why not both, right? It's
both.
Sort of for both.
But anyway, they have been very generous in providing some prize pools that these runners are currently competing for. And yeah, go ahead, check them out, rank1.global, and you can see the runners' individual profiles there as well. And I'll go ahead and drop that link in chat one more time for you.
Yeah, and if anyone out there is thinking about getting into this randomizer, or just interested either coming from the Super Metroid side or the Link to the Past side, or just completely new to both games, there's a pretty supportive community, very welcoming. We had 95 entrants in this tournament, and I encourage anyone who's thinking about it to pick this game up. We do have 2 weekly races that are open entry, one at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, and then one at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays. And so all you need to do is just show up to SRL and be ready to race. And so that's a good way to get into it. Or just join the Discord and just start jamming seeds. There are people running pickup races and all sorts of stuff. So a lot of resources to get help, and then a lot of people to race with is a lot of fun. And it looks like Lack is making this play to the right side of Ganon's tower, so we know the big key's on the left. He's going to find it here pretty shortly.
Yeah, and I don't know how Dorkmaster Flek is feeling right now, not having seen the dot done after 3 hours. Dork did have a few hiccups early on in the run, so not sure how he's feeling right now, but he's going to be relieved to hit that dot done, I think.
Yeah, in their first race, Lack finished in a 240-something. So I'm sure he's definitely keenly aware of the timer. Like once you start seeing 3:0x times, you really start to ISRL. But yeah, Dorkmaster is on his way through Parlor, and unless something real weird happens, he is going to take this one down and then punch his ticket to brackets. So he'll be playing in the single elimination rounds that'll start here probably in the next week or so. And yeah, there, Dorkmaster Flek has made it to the ship. GG has done in first place with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 14 minutes, 55 seconds. So congratulations to Dorkmaster Flek, who will be moving on to brackets. Lack taking a little pause and chatting in the SRL channel, congratulating Dorkmaster on the win. And we'll see if he continues to play this one out. But I heard a ding, so I think that we're joined by Dorkmaster Flek. GG.
Hello, GG's.
So how'd you feel about that race?
Kind of a mixed bag, I think. It was kind of a follow the logic seed for the most part. I really liked the vanilla uncle sword because I hate running around Link to the Past without a sword. It's such a pain. But then we didn't see another sword until the very end.
Right.
The next one was Bonk Rocks, I think, and then Lower Norfair. What the heck?
Double swords, why not?
Just sword, fire rod, bow. Okay, sure, why not? Let's go.
Yeah, go mode -2 into go mode in the same area always feels really good. So, I guess, what was your approach to this matchup? So lackattack won the first match between you, and I'm curious if that experience affected how you elected to play this, or if you came in with a particular approach or not.
Oh, I don't think it changed how I approached it. I still played pretty much like I otherwise would have. I was expecting him to just outperform me again, to be honest, so I didn't really change my approach, so I'm kind of shocked that I won this one.
You were seeded higher.
Yeah. You were the 2 seed, and you defended.
Yeah, that's funny that it worked out that way. When we got the seeding for the groups, and I was the 2 seed and he was 3, I was like, I'm pretty sure that should be the other way around, but he just hasn't done as many of the weekly races as I have for the SRL rank.
Yeah, and I mean it was definitely an approximate way of seeding things, but I think it's a very close matchup. I mean, I was very interested in seeing it play out, and it turned out to deliver another good game.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty I think my routing was pretty decent overall. It's all kind of a blur now since I'm still kind of shocked that I won, but I think I managed to do a lot of checks in a line and not orphaning too many spots. The mitts was the thing that surprised me. I don't know why I decided to go check them. I think I probably wasn't going to go to that spot until much later since it was the only thing left there, but I decided to just pop in and check it since it was close to the ship.
Yeah, we were commenting that anytime that you were thorough and got those slightly out of the way checks, saved you time when lackattack had to go all the way out of the way to go double back and check them.
Yeah, and I think that's, generally speaking, I think I'm a pretty cautious player, so I like to, get those slightly out of the way things so I'm not orphaning things, and I feel like probably usually that hurts me, but in this particular seed it helped, so...
Yeah, I've seen both strategies work out. I'm thinking particularly of the graveyard ledge. Like, you check that, I don't even think there was anything there, but just kind of the philosophy of routing. You check that while you were coming out of Skull Woods because you're not going to be closer to graveyard ledge than you are at that moment. So if you're going to check it, that's the time you want to check it. Whereas some runners will leave that, and if a runner leaves that and comes back to it, then the more thorough strategy pays off. But if it's nothing and the less thorough runner never has to come back to it, then that strategy pays off. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It depends on the seed. I feel like probably statistically you probably should skip it, but I don't know. I got burned so many times.
Chat wants to know why you went into Turtle Rock, found that it wasn't Fire Rod locked, and then left anyway.
Yeah, that was a weird play to me.
Yeah. I think my brain might have not been working totally correctly there. Like, I was thinking that, like, okay, we have, like, East Death Mountain, so I can't do Hookshot Cave yet. That was a convenient but kind of trolly spot for the hookshot. So I figured, okay, we're going to do, like, Super Bunny Cave. And then while I was there, I was like, oh, I may as well open Turtle Rock. I'm like, oh, I guess I can check the first chest because I don't need the Fire Rod for that, right? So I just checked the first chest and left because that's what I had planned to do. And then I completely didn't, like, I completely spaced out on, like, that the logic actually did not require the Fire Rod to go further, and I could have gone further, but that wouldn't have been worth anything anyway, so.
With the route you had to take up to East Death Mountain, you know, with the mirror and hammer, and you want to take that portal, right, that's on top of Turtle Rock. So that it kind of made sense at least to go up there and open it, but then... Yeah, it's kind of like you probably just had in your mind, okay, I can check one chest and I'm out of here. Which, honestly,
exactly.
It didn't... A lot of runners will mirror out of that room anyway, so I don't even think it costs time. Because you got the small key and mirrored out, you just came back later from that mirror point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it really... I mean, I guess, like, if it's logically not Fire Rod locked, then there could be some progression in there, but that didn't end up being the case. I think that's probably pretty unlikely, but...
Yeah, for a while, once you had gotten Mitts and Hookshot, that gave you a solid lead. Lack had some bad things happen to him on that part of the routing. And so for a while it was looking like Lack's biggest out was actually Fire Rod being behind that small key in Turtle Rock, because it wasn't clear to us when you were going to get back to that.
Right. Yeah,
and you've done everything else so thoroughly.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to be... I think the routing worked out pretty well for me, and I tried to be as thorough as I could, and there weren't very many orphan spots. The Mitts was the main one. Fortunately, it's pretty close to the ship, so I ended up getting it not too late there. And Swamp was the key thing, I think, to go into once we got the flippers, or once we found the hookshot and had access to Swamp. Although you didn't actually need the hookshot to get... the bottom of Swamp. What did we even get in there? I don't even remember.
Boots.
That's what
the boots. That's
what Lackattack did, actually. Went into Swamp Palace without the hookshot. And Lack is about to finish up here. Just finished Aga 2. Still has to fight Ganon. Has a gold sword, but no silver arrow. So it'll be just a couple minutes here with good execution.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I checked every other spot in Meridia, so I think the silvers are a check tool. Lovely.
Yeah, we're pretty sure that that's what it is, and that grappling beam was on Laser Bridge, and so if you were doing Turtle Rock last, it was going to be a real thorn in your side to go get those silvers, unless you ice clipped up early or something.
Yeah, the silvers are pretty dumb.
Crystal flashed or whatever.
I mean, yeah, fortunately with, gold sword, red mail, we got all 4 bottles, so silverless Ganon's not a problem, although my silverless Ganon fight was pretty sloppy. I'm not great at that.
Yeah, it looked like I was surprised you pushed Fire Rod as far as you did. Did you have another blue potion?
I should have had one more, I believe.
You used one to refill your magic in the falling torch room after Gauntlet, and then you used one right after you got the torch glitch. So if you had 3, then... Which I think, I'm pretty sure you had 3 bottles when you went to fill them up. It's just a matter of if you had enough money at that point.
No, I had 4, but I had all 4 bottles, I think.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was loaded up with blue potion.
Yeah, we saw you pause and show an empty glass in your menu when you were menuing to lamp, and I wasn't sure if you were looking for a blue there or not. But that makes a lot more sense being as aggressive as you were with Fire Rod there then.
Yeah. I wanted to. I definitely like knowing that it's like, okay, we're in go mode. I'm doing silverless. I'm gonna make sure I have plenty of blue potions.
And there, lackattack has finished up Ganon, so GG to Lack. As soon as he crosses the bridge, it's going to be time for him because he's already finished Mother Brain. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of his tournament experience here, but hopefully he will come in and chat. I'd like to hear a little bit about the run from him. GG finished in second place with an official time of 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 41 seconds.
Yeah.
And welcome, lackattack. GG.
Hey, thanks, GG Flek.
Yo, GG, man.
So, Lack, it seemed like early Thieves Town really started to get you. You had some really unfortunate Hellway deaths, and I wasn't sure if that sort of affected how you routed and played downstream, or if you really just kind of stuck to your game plan.
I don't think the deaths really affected my routing as much as it just kind of annoyed me, and it just made me feel even more behind. Like when I checked so many things and could not find the boots, because I guess that was the progression that led to everything else. Because I went to wrecked ship, and I didn't think it was in logic. But I'm like, I'm here. I can do everything. I can at least see what the speed item is. I couldn't remember if it was in logic or not because I didn't have space jump or grapple. But I had gravity suit.
You had gravity and bombs, or gravity and high jump, I think, at that point. So gravity and high jump will get you there.
Okay, so I was in logic. So I got the flippers, and I thought it was out of logic. And so that led me away from swamp. And that's why I didn't do it. I kept thinking I was out of logic. So, that was my last check. I got the boots. I'm like, well, there you go. I guess it was in logic. And, once I did that, everything seemed fine. I mentioned in IRC that I died on the way to the climb supers, which were Titan's mitts, and that was really unfortunate.
Yeah, that was really the big thing.
Yeah, because that led me away from it for a long time, and then I finally went to Lower Norfair through the portal, or no, through the main gate, and then died to GT. And that I can't remember if that's when I went back for Titan's Mitt. I have to watch it, but it really just kind of threw me off.
After the death, that got you back to climb supers, which was good, but it put you on a bunch of unrequired mitts checks that you could have potentially gotten there after Lower Norfair, but it would have still been tough because you still need mitts to go get the hook shot. So you can't hit go mode without opening up all the mitt stuff. So you need to go to that bad Dark Death Mountain Super Bunny location to get the hook shot, which is that was really the crappy pair of locations of the seed.
Yeah, that was really funny. I just I don't even know, even had I not died and just kept going through LN and gotten the other stuff, I would have cleared everything else and before going back to climb supers. And I don't even know if it would have made a difference. I think getting him the first time really would have made a difference for me. But
speaking of LN, I got to give you mad props. You stuck to you were really persistent in a lot of places and kind of seemed like you were learning some stuff on the fly and managed pretty well with it. One was the gravity jump going through the lava dive. You were kind of figuring out as you went, and you did a good job of it, sticking to it and trying it out. And also I was really impressed with the Vitreous fight using the hammer.
Oh my god, that was a class, dude. That was impressive.
I got there and was like, oh god, the fighter sword doesn't do anything. I have to use the hammer. And then luckily I had bought 2 blue potions and was down I think to 2 hits, and that was hilarious.
Fighter sword spins because you can upgrade it to master sword damage. But without the cape, you can't really get in there unless you're running a WQ type strat where you're taking the goo damage boosts. But you have to spin attack if you do a fighter sword.
So what threw me off, I put the Cane of Berna on, and you can't do spin attacks with the cane on. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fighter sword doesn't do anything.
That's happened to me before.
And that threw me off again. So, and then I got to Mother Brain and was like, do I have enough ammo?
We
because-
counted. You had 36 extra missiles.
Wow. Because I thought it was 60 supers to kill. Isn't it 60?
It's-
Yeah, 60
or
super.
equivalent. So you
And
need 21
missiles Missiles are three.
One
Three
third.
missiles is a super. 3 missiles
Yeah.
is a super. Okay. I was
Against
counting
Mother
6.
Brain, yeah.
I was
Well,
counting
against
6
Ridley,
missiles.
it's 6. Against Mother Brain,
Yeah.
it's 3. So-
Yeah, Ridley takes
Probably
double
right.
damage from
I-
supers.
Yeah. Math is tough right now.
Yeah, ammo math
Yeah.
is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, other than like, I just felt like I didn't play very well, but good job, Flek, for taking the win.
Oh, GG. I was expecting it to go the same way as the last one, but yeah, I mean, you put up a real good fight. You did some things that I was afraid of. I was not going in to fight Vitreous with Fighter Sword.
Yeah, it turned out to not even be worth it. Like once I had found the 2 items, I could have either left or made a different decision. But
Yeah,
it's
like I think
no big deal.
I think I just the siege ended up playing to my strengths of how I route with like not wanting to orphan things and also like things like avoiding going into Misery Mire. Like I had Misery Mire full clearable for a little while, I think, but I didn't want to go in there because I was so underpowered. And then once we found we got the hook shot, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Swamp first, and then Boots, yada yada yada.
Yeah, it was just really when you found the Titan's myths is really when things opened up.
Yeah,
Nice.
I wondered about that because it was an orphan spot, and I happened to just be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go check this because I feel like I need to make some gambles to beat Lax. So, and it paid off.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame Solsky because he said never scout climb supers.
Yeah, if you get a
His
chance to
name
watch
might have
this
come up.
back, we may have had a nice little conversation about that.
It's funny. Yeah, but he probably also said don't die trying to get climb supers. So
That definitely would be some of his advice. Like
Yeah.
if you go into that room, just get the item.
yeah, no, don't die. That's a lesson for all you kids out there. But
That's
Anyway.
funny. I actually died there in my race last week, so you're not alone.
yeah, I was just gonna crystal flash, and then I fell
Yeah.
I fell, and I couldn't screw attack to get past the. Little
Oh yeah, falling in the
slime.
little pit there is the worst.
I fell, and then I got down to like what I don't know, 200 health, and then I fell in there and I couldn't get out. So,
Oh,
Yeah, it
dang.
looked like you were letting your health drain. I was like, oh, this is clever. You're gonna crystal flash and get the health for the spark back, and then you didn't get a spin jump, and the Boyan knocked you right back down into the acid, and you died. And it was just like, oh my gosh, that's so rough. In the future, like I was like, what do I do there? And maybe it's like jump out a little early and then damage the last like 50 health off of the Boyan itself. But
Yeah.
like that feels slow. But I don't know, maybe like those things have a propensity to just knock me right back in the acid all the time.
yeah, they have kind of weird damage recoil or whatever. But I
Yeah,
went on
I
a
definitely died there.
yeah, I went on a Meridia dive too. Like I went I died. Where did I die?
Oh, did you die in Meridia?
I died somewhere else too. That was stupid, and I had like done a bunch of checks that were nothing. I can't even remember now.
No,
I
that was
died-
the
Died to
climb.
Gold Turizo, but that wasn't
That was
too
the
bad.
climb.
Yeah, because you lost like part of wrecked ship or something, like something that was not important.
I lost.
I forget what exact, or no, it was out of Meridia because you respawned
was
back
out
in
of Meridia.
Aqueduct after
Yeah.
the climb supers, where you because you routed up into that and then noped out from there.
Yeah,
So it was
I-
the Meridia cleanup that you lost.
Yeah, which was, I think, probably an E-tank, which I could have used, but it definitely was a heart in there. I was like, I just lost a heart. But, I was thinking back to our race. The last race I had against you, Maniacal, was really had an effect on me because I was like, man, do I go to Lower Norfair without without Varia?
Oh no!
And then, that, and then There was something else. I probably just one of the checks that ended. Oh, X-ray. I was like, God, when am I going to get to X-ray? Yeah, I don't know, grapple or space.
Yeah, I never
jump,
got there either.
So, I guess the only thing I didn't. I mean, I seem to have checked. I checked everything in Super Metroid, and I left on 30 checks on it. I had 205 collected, but I definitely died. So, but my total time is 3:13, which, I finished 10 minutes after that. So, definitely lost a lot to deaths.
Yeah.
The collected items count is really quite bad of a metric, unfortunately, because a lot of strats that you'll run when you're routing these things out will involve resets back to different nodes to check like branches if you don't find progression.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time you do that, you subtract off 8 to 10 checks that you did when you were out looking at all this garbage, and it just completely doesn't go into count.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really hard to tell.
I mean, honestly, looking at my Link to the Past tracker, it's probably more like 250, maybe 260 with like number of things that I actually saw. Maybe even higher. I didn't really do, I mean, not much of GT, and I skipped Hookshot Cave, Half a Pod, Ice Palace, Swamp Palace. But yeah, going into Skullwoods, getting the mirror was really nice. That was a really nice play. I guess Flek did the same thing, kind of the same routing.
Yeah, you both ended up in Skullwoods, not too far apart. I think you were maybe 3 or 4 minutes ahead to there. You had done, I think you did the escape, and then Dorkmaster had done some other checks, followed up on a couple other things.
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it and just see what happened. But oh well, it was really fun playing against both of you guys. So we have to look forward to the next tournament. But SMZ3 is awesome. Everyone should give it a try.
I agree, and I hope that we see you coming out and doing some weeklies and stuff, and continue racing SMZ3 Lack, because it's definitely been good to have you in the tournament, and it's good to have people enjoying SMZ3. I think it's just a fantastic game. I know we spent some time chatting about it in the past few days.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking towards the future for this, and we'll definitely be practicing my Super Metroid before the next one.
Yeah, so next tournament's going to be Key Sanity, right?
I wouldn't put it past folks. I'm crossing my fingers for 2v2 multi-world.
Yeah, that would be really fun, honestly. I would really enjoy that. 2v2
multi-world would be a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Why not multi-world Key Sanity?
Yeah. now we're getting into the real stupid.
Yeah.
As long as it's SMZ3, I'll be happy.
It's a good way of looking at it. I'll pretty much join whatever tournament. I'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, definitely.
I love SMZ3 because Super Metroid randomizers by themselves are like they turn out too linear. Or they turn out to go up or down Red Tower. Like that's a lot of times just how they play out. And the cross-world portals allow so many more different, route branches when you go back and forth between the two games. And Link to the Past randomizer is just like, when am I going to get boots? When am I going to get boots? But if I have a break to go back into Super Metroid, I don't feel bad because I can still dash while I'm in Super Metroid.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think the Key Sanity mode is going to make that routing even more interesting. I can't wait.
Yeah, I've done a couple of the playtests, and there's definitely more going back and forth between the two games than there is in plain old SMZ3. A lot of times SMZ3, for the more, if you know the more advanced Super Metroid tricks, you only need a couple of items to practically full clear the game. So you'll probably, as soon as you get, a lot of times you get Morph Ball and you can just clear out 80 to 90% of Super Metroid with nothing else. with the other couple things that you have. So yeah, the locked doors on ZBs definitely add a lot more complicated routes, obviously. Any final thoughts on the seed or anything else, about the tournament for either of the runners?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I did want to ask Dorkmaster how you're feeling moving forward into brackets. If there's anyone particular you really want to get matched up with, or how you're feeling about it.
I'm terrified. I did not expect to be making it to brackets in a million years. So,
well, you could get lucky and get matched up against Maniacal.
I'll
super
take it.
free. Yeah, just I'll forget something in Bubble Mountain. And
actually, I think we've already agreed that you'll forget climb, or you'll forget ship Peebs.
Oh gosh, yeah, Criteria Power Bombs. If something's ever at Criteria Power Bombs, I mean, my God.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see who I get matched up against. But yeah, I don't anticipate I'm going to be going much further in the brackets. But I mean, the fact that I actually made it is wild. So yeah, I guess.
Congratulations.
I think this seed was I think this seed was particularly well suited to the way that I play. So chalk it up to that.
Yeah, I mean so in it 2-1, with I guess we've got 48 players. We've got 24 2-0s and 24 2-1s making it through. And so there's a 50-50 chance. Well, it depends. I guess 2/3 of the 2-1s are going to pair against another 2-1. Then 1/3 of the 2-1s, the bottom 1/3, is going to pair against someone who went 2-0 in groups. So given that you were a 2 seed, it's most likely that you're going to end up pairing against someone else who went 2-1 in groups in the first round.
Okay, so it might be a little closer than I expect.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it depends on who it is.
You I was gonna say, you made it into brackets, and there's a lot of good runners there, and you were among them. So,
for some reason,
big open rando, and there's a lot of crazy things that can happen.
Yeah, it sure is. But yeah, I'm really glad that Lack and I got to have another rematch. It was awesome getting put in the same group and getting to play you in this, Lack. It's awesome you're running this, because you are really good at a lot of stuff, and you didn't disappoint here either. So
yeah, thanks. It's always fun to play against friends. So got to do that in each of the matches in this tournament. So.
Yeah, the SMZ3 community is full of some pretty swell folks. So I've been pretty happy with most of the people I've gotten to race in these tournaments. It's always fun. I wish we'd have them more often.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, if there's nothing else that y'all wanted to comment on about the seed, then I think we're probably just about done here. Cross Product, thank you for joining me on commentary, and Yield Fart Gamer, I wanted to shout out our tracker doing a great job all night tracking. Definitely one of these sort of unheralded positions in terms of making sure these matches are crewed properly and go off and produce a good quality stream for everyone. So big thanks to Yield Fart Gamer, the fourth of the party of Group W, Group W showing up in force here. For this
the whole group.
Yeah, I was just thinking that all four of us are involved in this somehow.
We all had to see how this story ended.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Flek. Well, and thanks, guys, for doing the commentary. It's always great group here. So thanks again.
Thanks for running. Absolutely. Follow the runners. Follow the commentators. Follow the trackers. Follow the Speed Gaming Network. There's 6 Speed Gaming channels. You can go ahead and see what upcoming races we have. This actually looks to be it for tonight. If we're going to have some more races, if you check out the schedule, starting around noon tomorrow with Portal 2 and Link to the Past Randomizer. But if you need something to fill the time till then, and you like this SMZ3 1v1, Guess what? There were 2 other concurrent races at when this run was going on, so I think that was redundant. But anyway, you can go ahead and check out the VODs on SpeedGaming 3 and SpeedGaming 4 if you want to see some more SMZ3 1v1 action from tonight. I have been Cross Product. I was joined by Maniacal, and I'll go ahead and let him sign us off for the evening.
Thank you so much, Cross. Yeah, I think you did a good job of summing it up. But yeah, go if you want more SMZ3. There's a huge library of VODs across the whole SpeedGaming network, SpeedGaming through SpeedGaming 6. Definitely go check those out. A lot of really great matches so far this tournament, and definitely more to come. So keep an eye on that schedule. Thank you all for hanging out. GG again to our runners. Congrats to Dorkmaster Flek for punching his ticket to brackets. And that'll do it for us. Have a great night.
Rank 1 Global. Thanks to our sponsor, rank1.global. Make sure you check them out as well. Have a great evening.